Chapter 727. Young Master Kai, he doesn't have the power of the heavens, Mu Sanyang said in a low voice. Ever since the destruction of the Windflower City and the ruins of the romantic floor, Mu Sanyang's brows were tightly knitted together. Her cold face and murderous eyes made Wang Kai sigh inwardly. If she continued like this, she would go crazy if she couldn't find Mu Wanwan. She was nothing like the gentle and charming girl she was before. He naturally doesn't have the power of the heavens. However, he has the 36 transformations, so he can convert the power he possesses into the power of the heavens. Wang Kai shrugged and said rather casually, regardless of what kind of power Zhu Beiji had in his world, he lived under the heavens. Even if he didn't have faith, he was still under the heavens. Since their powers came from the same source, he could use them after some transformation. 36 transformations? What do you mean? Mu Sanyang turned her cold eyes and looked at Zhu Beiji in the distance. Zhu Beiji had a dissatisfied look on his face. He snorted twice before reluctantly shouting, "Change." Buzz. Suddenly, under Zhu Beiji's spell, the power in his body was transformed into the power of the heavens. Moreover, the power of the heavens reached the 9th level. The peak of the 9th level of the heavens. The power of the heavens was at the 9th level. It could be said that he had truly become a cultivator of Tianzhou. Zhu Beiji's transformation has a time limit. I can't maintain this state forever. Zhu Beiji mumbled. The transformation was a success. This situation caused Mu Sanyang's eyes to narrow. She turned and gave Wang Kai a deep look. Without saying a word, she walked down the deck and went to find a room to rest. She wanted to know what kind of cultivators Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji were. But now, she was not in the mood to ask. How long can it last? Wang Kai smiled faintly. 3 days. Cough cough. Maybe 2 days. At the very least, 1 day. Zhu Beiji said with uncertainty. That's right. It wasn't that he hadn't used the 36 transformations before, but it didn't last long. Hearing this, Wang Kai became impatient. He waved his hand and said, 1 day is enough. This region is very close to the western region. As long as we are fast enough, we can reach it in less than a day. Let's go. Brother Monkey knows the 72 heavenly transformations. Why don't you let him come? Lao Sha also knows the 36 Disha transformations. Zhu Beiji grumbled unhappily. Then, he carried the 9-toothed rake and walked towards the source of the warship's heavenly power. No matter how unhappy he was, he had to obey. Sha Wujing only knows the 18 transformations. Where did the 36 transformations come from? Wang Kai frowned and asked in surprise. Crack. When Zhu Beiji heard this, he stopped and turned his head around. He looked at Wang Kai and said in shock, Master, are you from that world as well? And mortal? Wang Kai was stunned. He didn't know why Zhu Beiji would ask such a question. In Old Pig's world, the folklore says that junior brother Sha only knows 18 transformations. However, that's not the case. Junior brother Sha is the same as Old Pig. Both of them have the ability of the Disha 36 transformations. Moreover, in terms of transformations, there are only 2 types of transformations, the Heavenly Dipper transformations and the Disha 36 transformations. There is no such thing as 18 transformations. At the same time, he sized up Wang Kai with a strange look in his eyes. If Wang Kai wasn't from that world, why would he know the folklore? When Wang Kai heard this, he came to a realization. Indeed, the common people believed that Sun Wukong knew the 72 transformations of the Heavenly Dipper, and Zhu Beiji knew the 36 transformations of the Earthly Fiend. Then, when it came to Sha Wujing, he should have 18 transformations. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case. What could be truer than the words of Zhu Beiji himself? Yes, Ben Shao isn't from your world. Ben Shao created your world out of boredom. Naturally, he has heard of the folklore. You can go back to work. Wang Kai shrugged and said casually. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. This bragging. Zhu Beiji was inwardly filled with disdain when he heard this. He snorted inwardly and walked away with his 9-toothed rake. Hee, I wonder if the system has the 72 heavenly transformations and 36 Disha transformations? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and walked down the deck excitedly. Below the deck, in the middle of the warship, there was a long corridor. On both sides of the corridor, there was a door every 10 steps. The corridor was very narrow. It could only fit one person. Young Master Kai, can you come in and help me? Just as Wang Kai chose a room at random and pushed the door open, he heard Mu Sanyang's voice. Help? Help with what? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows in confusion and turned to close the door. He followed the source of the sound and came to the door of Mu Sanyang's room. Clack! As the door was pushed open by Wang Kai, the scene he saw inside was truly breathtaking. Mu Sanyang's back was facing Wang Kai. She was completely naked. Her dress was half undone. Wang Kai's eyes narrowed and he held his breath when he saw the soft glow of her snow-white skin. Damn, what's going on? Is she trying to seduce me? Could it be that she is suppressing her anger because her sister is missing and the romantic floor is in ruins? Is she trying to use Benshio's body to vent her anger? Damn it! What kind of person does she think Ben Shao is? Ahem, but Ben Shao is such a righteous, tolerant, and compassionate person. I should bite the bullet and fulfill her wish. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. In the blink of an eye, many thoughts flashed through Wang Kai's mind, but in the end, he naturally chose to comply. Young Master Kai, can you help me undo my dress? My hand can't reach there. Mu Sanyang's voice was stiff and she pretended to be seductive. However, her ice-cold face and eyes that were filled with killing intent betrayed the attitude she was putting on at this moment. She was not in the mood to seduce him, but she still did it. What was Mu Sanyang thinking? Moreover, as a peak celestial circle expert, how could she not even undo her own dress? Even if she was immortal, she could still undo her own clothes, okay? Mu Huan this young master won't ask what you want to do. However, you don't need to do this. Although this young master is fond of beauties, this young master isn't someone who will submit to anyone. However, if you insist on doing so, this young master will naturally fulfill your wish for the sake of righteousness. Wang Kai shrugged and spoke with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. A pervert is a pervert. What does that have to do with the greater good? Mu Sanyang's eyes were full of disdain. She turned around with a cold face and exposed her naked front to Wang Kai. Young Master Kai, am I beautiful? Chapter 728. How dare she ask him if she was beautiful? If it were any other man, they would definitely say that she was very beautiful, right? Unfortunately, Wang Kai wasn't such a person from beginning to end. It's passable. For someone like this young master who has seen tens of thousands of beauties, it's barely passable. There's no need to control it, continue taking it off. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a teasing smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Don't hold back? Continue taking it off? Barely passable? Damn you! Mu Sanyang was in a bad mood and was filled with murderous intent. But as a woman, she was not happy to hear Wang Kai's comment. Young Master Kai, if you can help me find my sister and avenge the romantic floor. Clatter! Before Mu Sanyang could finish speaking, Wang Kai had already taken out his folding fan and interrupted her. He was surprised at first, but now it seemed that it was just as he had guessed. Mu Sanyang had a favor to ask of him, which was why she did this. In the end, she did not trust him. Otherwise, she would not have done this. There's no need to show off. No matter how beautiful your body is, it's just a stinky skin. This young master originally wanted to help you, but unfortunately, your current appearance really makes it difficult for this young master to help. So, you have to think of a way yourself. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a rather casual expression. Clatter. As his voice faded, the door was shut by Wang Kai, leaving Mu Sanyang standing there in a daze with a pair of empty eyes. She couldn't understand why such a lecherous man like Wang Kai would refuse her taking the initiative to throw herself at him. Moreover, he had rejected him so simply and cleanly. What kind of person was he? She did not know that Wang Kai's face was as dark as ink. Thinking about what he said just now, he wanted to slap himself a few times. Damn it! Why didn't I just say yes? If that's the case, I can still taste the beauty of the world. What a pity, what a pity! Wang Kai shook his head and sighed inwardly. He glanced at the door with great reluctance. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and leave. Since he had already acted tough, how could he embarrass himself? After randomly finding a room, Wang Kai sat on the wooden bed and slowly closed his eyes. Flying-type magical equipment must also have offensive capabilities. If it has defensive capabilities, that would be even better. Just a bit faster, Wang Kai activated his mind and secretly communicated with the system. He opened the page of the ultimate magical artifact. As he scanned the area, he was quite surprised. There were simply too many offensive magical treasures that could fly. His eyes were dazzled. For a moment, he did not know which one to choose. Even Wang Kai had the urge to take them all. There are thousands of level 9 celestial martial divine weapons that can fly. Wang Kai was startled by what he saw. Inside, there were warships, flying saucers, flutes, flying swords, and even palaces. There was everything. However, each type of level 9 celestial martial divine weapon that could fly required 5,000 bragging points. Seeing this, Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He was afraid that it would be impossible for him to take them all. Host, Wang Kai Profession, Heavenly Martial Artist Realm, Level 5 Heavenly Path Dao Technique, Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth Heavenly Martial Technique, Extermination Lightning Fire Blade, Airlock Step, Undying Shield, Lightning Speed Blade Equipment, Ever-Changing Fan, Heavenly Blade, Heavenly Crown, Heavenly Armor Power of Heaven, Level 9 Astral Origin Points, 0 Physique, Invulnerable Protector Spirit Beasts, None Bragging Points, 63,000 Experience, 3000004000000 inch 63,000. Forget it, I'll take one first. Wang Kai glanced at the bragging points he had. Although there were a lot of bragging points, he did not know what kind of danger he would encounter in Tianzhou. Moreover, a level 9 celestial martial divine weapon required 5,000 bragging points. If he used them carelessly, he would use them all up. Thinking of this, Wang Kai could only choose one item. This palace is not bad. It's beautiful and domineering. It suits Bencheo's supreme disposition. I'll take you, Wang Kai said with a smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the rank 6 Heavenly Path realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining a level 9 Celestial Martial Divine Weapon, Buzhou Heaven Palace. 5,000 bragging points have been used. Buzz. Patter. As the notification disappeared, a miniature palace appeared in front of Wang Kai. It floated in the air and emitted a mysterious aura. Buzhou Heaven Palace, TSK, what a good name. From now on, Benchao will be called the ruler of Buzhou. As the ruler of Tianzhou, Benchao is indeed suitable for this name. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Bang bang. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Wang Kai, who was in the midst of his joy, could not help but be startled. Swoosh. He put away the Buzhou Heaven Palace and said indifferently, "Come in." Patter. As the door was gently pushed open, the haggard Mu Sanyang appeared in front of Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang, who should have been filled with killing intent, looked extremely haggard, as if she was terminally ill. Young Master Kai, please help me, plop. Mu Sanyang sobbed softly. As soon as she finished speaking, she knelt on the ground. Her beauty could not move Wang Kai. Now, for the sake of her sister Mu Wanwan and the revenge of the destruction of Romantic Floor, she could only do this. Looking at Mu Sanyang's actions, Wang Kai frowned. He couldn't help but feel guilty. However, Wang Kai did not regret it. Instead of letting Mu Sanyang live in hatred, it was better to find a way to change her. If he had agreed to Mu Sanyang's request and had sex with her, the consequences would have been more serious. Aya, wouldn't it have been better if you did this earlier? But you don't have to kneel. Ben Shao is such a kind man. How could he not help a beautiful woman when she is in trouble? Come, sit down and rest. Wang Kai suddenly got off the bed and walked to Mu Sanyang's side. He very attentively helped her up, and at the same time, his hand dishonestly slid down her back. Young Master Kai, you whoosh! Mu Sanyang was stunned as if she had been struck by lightning. She stared blankly at Wang Kai as he pushed her to sit on the wooden bed. She just couldn't understand why such a frivolous and lecherous man would reject her before. Don't worry. As for our sister, Mu Wanwan's matter, as her brother-in-law, I will naturally handle it perfectly. What powerful enemy! Under Benshao's terrifying strength, they will be nothing. Wang Kai waved his arm and smiled confidently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. The new book was released at the same time. It was called The Unparalleled God Devourer, and the author's ID was Shiman Langlang. After Dongmen Buching, it was time to start the fun. Haha, I hope everyone will support the new book. It is passionate, funny, and well, in short, it has everything you can think of. Chapter 729. Brother-in-law? Such words made Mu Sanyang feel even more strange. She had boldly taken the initiative to throw herself into Wang Kai's arms, only to be rejected by him. Now, not only was he attentive, but he was also secretly taking advantage of her. What made Mu Sanyang even more confused was that he even said he was Mu Wanwan's brother-in-law. What was he trying to do? Mu Sanyang was helpless against Wang Kai's unpredictable personality. However, as long as he promised to find Mu Wanwan and avenge the Romantic Floor, he could do whatever he wanted. Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang raised her head and looked straight at Wang Kai with her beautiful eyes. Her red lips parted slightly. Thank you, young Master Kai. Do you need to be so serious? Wang Kai, who had just stretched out his evil hand, was shocked by Mu Sanyang's sincere and indecipherable gaze. His hand froze in midair. Ahem, don't worry. As long as Benshao is here, everything in this world is yours. Finding someone and taking revenge is nothing. It's just a small matter. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Listen up, the helmsman of the warship in front. Stop the warship and hand it over. Young Master Nalen will reward you handsomely for gifting the ship. Stop? Hand over the warship? Hee, the woman beside you is quite pretty. Why don't you let this old pig play with her for a few days? Bastard! How dare you be so rude to Miss Nalen? Men, seal this ship. Seal your ass. Watch this old pig smash you to pieces. Buzz. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, the warship began to shake violently as a series of loud noises rang out. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang, who were in the room, also swayed back and forth unsteadily. What's going on? Can an accident happen in the air? Whoosh! Wang Kai furrowed his brows and snorted with a dark expression. He immediately grabbed Mu Sanyang's arm and rushed up to the deck. However, what they saw left Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang dumbfounded. How could the current warship still look like a warship? It was obviously the remains of a half-destroyed ship. Moreover, on both sides of the warship there were two halves of the ship. It was obvious that the warship had smashed them into two halves. Master, this group of dogs wanted to rob the ship. Old Pig was so angry that he knocked their ship away. Suddenly, Zhu Beiji harumphed from below. Even now, his tone was still unfriendly. He was already in a bad mood because he was forced by Wang Kai to sail the boat. Now that he was robbed on the way, he was on the verge of exploding in anger. It had directly evolved into its current state. What a bunch of big dogs! When Wang Kai heard this, the corner of his mouth twitched violently. He could not help but rub his nose as he looked down at Zhu Beiji, who was using the nine-toothed rake to hold up the warship so that it would not fall. That aggressive appearance of his made Wang Kai speechless. Bastard! Bastard! Do you know that young Master Naylan and young Lady Naylan are the top geniuses of the Naylan family? Who dares to disrespect them in the alchemist's domain? The Naylan family? The alchemist's domain? When he heard this, Wang Kai scanned the ground below. After confirming that they were indeed out of the sixth region, he looked at the dozen figures who were floating in the air due to the destruction of the warship. The one who was leading the group was a guard in armor. Behind him, there were also a dozen or so guards. They formed a circle around the young man and woman, protecting them within it. The young man and woman were wearing long white robes. On their long robes, there was a blue crescent moon symbol. It must be the Naylan family's emblem, right? Alchemist. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled in surprise. The heavenly energy that he sensed from the young man and woman was extremely weak. It was equivalent to the heavenly yuan stage. Instead, the aura of herbs circulating around them was extremely dense. That's right. Bastard. Aren't you from the alchemist's domain? That must be the case. Otherwise, why would you be so disrespectful to the Naylan family? Since you don't know the situation, leave the warship behind and scram. The leader of the armored guards berated in a stern voice. Clang. At the same time, the guard waved his hand and unsheathed his long saber. Waves of heavenly energy swept out. Are all the people from the alchemist's domain so good at showing off? But just a mere heavenly emperor realm cultivation, you also have the nerve to shout and shout to kill with this young master. When you guys were hit, did your heads get pinched by the door too? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said with a rather disdainful expression. Swoosh. The moment these words were spoken, it immediately caused the eyes of the leader of the guards to darken. The bodies of the 10 or so guards behind him also suddenly trembled. Guardly, forget it. We don't have to do this. Just as the leading guard was about to speak, the young man in the middle waved his hand and stopped him. He turned around and walked to the front. Sorry we were rude. I am Naylan Ingxiong from the Naylan family. I came out this time to look for some elixirs so that I can stand out in the alchemist competition organized by the Naylan family. However, only your grandpa? Ben Shao doesn't have the mood to know who you are and what you want to do. If you want to talk, let the beauty come over. Otherwise, Before Naylan Ingxiong could finish his words, Wang Kai waved his hand and interrupted him. He raised his hand and pointed at the young woman who lowered her head. This, Naylan Ingxiong's face was filled with embarrassment. He knew his sister very well. She was afraid of strangers. If she angered Wang Kai, wouldn't all her efforts be wasted? My name is Naylan Shuyang. I am his sister. Suddenly, the young woman slowly raised her head. Her silver-white eyes dodged back and forth as she introduced herself. However, her trembling tone and her intermittent introduction betrayed the calmness she was pretending to be at that moment. "Tsk, not bad, not bad. You are as beautiful as Ruoshue. How about this? You can be Benchao's maid and Ruoshue's companion. Yes, when Ruoshue wakes up, Benchao will let her out and you can get to know her." Wang Kai smiled casually as he narrowed his eyes. Ruoshue Mu Sanyang secretly despised him. Ever since the battle at Fengyang village, Wang Kai had hidden Ruoshue somewhere. Until now, she still hadn't seen her. Now, he wanted to find a maid. What kind of weirdo was he? Impudent. How can the young lady of the Nalan family be your maid? Do you not want to live? Just as Nalan Ingxiong and Nalan Shuyang were in a difficult position, Guard Li suddenly roared. His angry appearance was as if he couldn't wait to fight with Wang Kai. Chapter 730. Are you tired of living? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and snorted coldly. You're the one who's tired of living, aren't you? You've been grumbling since just now. Do you really want Benchao to release you? Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, terrifying Dao intent swept out from Wang Kai's body and suppressed Guard Li, causing his face to turn pale. At this moment, everyone knew Wang Kai's cultivation realm. It had surpassed the Tianhui realm, even the divine realm. He was several times stronger than the top experts of the Nalan family. Heavenly Dao realm. At this moment, Guard Li's heart was beating violently. His eyes were filled with fear on his pale face. He never expected Wang Kai to be so strong. At such a young age, he already possessed such a terrifying cultivation. Even if he didn't put the Nalan family in his eyes, it was reasonable, right? After all, in Guard Li's knowledge, Lin Fan's cultivation aura could be ranked in the top 3 among the top experts of the Nalan family. Senior, please calm down. It's my fault for not recognizing Mount Tai. I hope that Senior can show mercy. Guard Li was seen kneeling in midair, clenching his fists and clenching his teeth. His expression was filled with lingering fear. If he really angered Lin Fan, not only would he lose his life, but he would also implicate the young master and young Mississippi get lost. Benchao isn't in the mood to do anything to you. Go to the side. Wang Kai's expression was rather impatient as he waved his hand. He could more or less guess Guard Li's actions. Even if Guard Li begged for mercy, Wang Kai believed that if he really did harm to Nalan Ingxiong and Nalan Shuyang, Guard Li would definitely fight him to the death. Now, Guard Li was only begging for mercy for the safety of Nalan Ingxiong and Nalan Shuyang. Senior, please let us go. In the future, we will definitely repay you. Nalan Ingxiong's face was slightly stiff. He was shocked by Wang Kai's terrifying cultivation. As for Nalan Shuyang, she was so frightened that her face turned pale, and her delicate body trembled slightly. As for the other guards, needless to say, they were already in a state of fear and despair. Originally, they thought of robbing Wang Kai's warship because it could no longer move forward. But in the end, it wasn't a robbery. They just wanted to borrow it temporarily. After that, with the Nalan family's status, they would pay back double. But who knew that Lin Fan had no intention of borrowing it? Instead, the Nalan Ingxiong and Nalan Ingxiong's. In the future, of course, the Nalan Ingxiong and Nalan Ingxiong. I will definitely repay you in the future. Why does it sound like I'm talking tough? If I didn't intend to let you go, would I still be hunted down by the Nalan family? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said with a speechless expression. Of hearing this, Nalan Ingxiong's eyes darkened. He was helpless against such words. But no matter what, it was his side that was in the wrong. Thinking of this, Nalan Ingxiong cupped his fists and said, "To be honest, although I'm one of the successors of the Nalan family, I'm only one of them. The purpose of this alchemy conference is to choose the only successor. Because of this, our warship was attacked by the other disciples of the Nalan family. As a result, we can no longer move forward. So, you want to rob Benshao's warship so that you can win in the alchemy conference, right? Do you think you're God? Do you think you can rob as you please? Others may be afraid of your Nalan family, but I'm sorry. Benshao has never been afraid of anyone since he was born. He has never been defeated. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the 7th grade Heavenly Tao realm. Never been defeated? Never been afraid of anyone? Hearing these words, everyone's expression changed again. Although they did not believe him, he was so young and his cultivation was so high. In Tianzhou, there were not many people in the younger generation who could defeat him. Perhaps not even one. He's bragging again. However, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes flickered. She despised him in her heart. He had never been defeated. He had just been defeated by the ghost Tao sovereign. Now, he was talking as if he was invincible. Please forgive me, Senior. I will pay you back double for the destruction of the warship after the alchemy conference. Nalan Ingxiong said sincerely. Patter. Wang Kai flipped open his folding fan. As he waved it, he looked at Nalan Shiyang and smiled faintly. There's no need for that. It's just a warship. Benshao has thousands of them. If you want to pay for it, let her be Benshao's maid. Yes, I will pay you back in a year. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. This, Nalan Ingxiong was about to say something when he was stopped by Gardley. Master, for the sake of winning the alchemy conference, you should agree to it for the time being. As long as you become the successor of the Nalan family, it will be easy for you to take Miss back or even kill him in the 5th domain. Gardley sneered secretly. Swoosh. Hearing this, Nalan Ingxiong's eyes darkened. He glared fiercely at Gardley and did not respond. Instead, he looked at Wang Kai and cupped his fist. Senior, please forgive me. I cannot agree to this condition. If you insist, I'm afraid you will be killed. It was a fatal disaster. TSK, Benshao would like to know what you mean by killed? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled in surprise. Swoosh. Suddenly, Nalan Ingxiong took out a black token and turned to Wang Kai. He said seriously, as long as I give up on the alchemy conference and inform the Nalan family of what happened here, you will have nowhere to run in the 5th domain. Clap, clap, clap. Wang Kai immediately clapped his hands when he saw this. His expression was one of admiration as he smiled and said, Not bad, not bad. You have guts. In that case, call your men over. I want to see how strong the cultivators of the 5th region are. Nalan Ingxiong's face darkened. He had intended to use this to make Wang Kai give in, but he did not expect Wang Kai to be even more aggressive. He was not afraid at all. Master, you can't do this. Gardley said in a low voice. Many guards cupped their fists and begged. To them, Nalan Ingxiong was their last hope. If they could not win the alchemy conference and the position of the family head fell into the hands of others, it would be difficult for them to survive in the Nalan family in the future. After all, they had chosen a loser. I am willing to be Senior's maid. However, Senior, can you do me a favor? Suddenly, Nalan Shuyang, who had been silent, stepped forward and spoke. Her words caused Nalan Ingxiong and the rest to change their expressions. Chapter 731. She agreed to be his maid just because he asked for her help? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked at her in surprise. Just as he was about to speak, Nalan Ingxiong interrupted him. Nonsense. Gardley, take Shuyang away. Nalan Ingxiong frowned and scolded coldly. If it was possible, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait for Nalan Shuyang to speak? However, before Gardley could take action, Nalan Shuiyang had already taken a step forward and directly arrived beside Wang Kai. Her delicate body trembled as she said in a very soft voice, You will agree to help me, right? I will. Wang Kai was stunned for a moment. Her expression clearly showed that she was afraid, yet she still dared to approach him. Furthermore, her body was trembling because she was worried that he would not agree, making it hard for him to look straight at her. He could not bear to do anything to her. He had to admit that although this girl was timid, she was cute. At least, she was strong. Shuiyang swoosh. Nalan Ningxiong frowned. His face was ashen as he was about to pull Nalan Shuiyang back. However, when he took a step forward, he was scared stiff by Wang Kai's gaze. Senior, she's still young. She's only 17. Please let her go. I'm willing to be your slave. Nalan Ningxiong said with a sorrowful expression. In the end, he bent his knees and knelt in the air. Only 17? Damn, she is so young? Hearing this, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. Only then did he seriously size her up. When he discovered that her age was indeed around 17, he suddenly felt a sense of guilt in his heart. Originally, Wang Kai thought that those who could reach the sky origin stage in Tianzhou would have to cultivate for at least a few decades, or even a few centuries. But now, Nalan Shuiyang was only 17 years old. Moreover, she was an alchemist. She had nothing to do with being a cultivator. If so, how did she reach the heavenly yuan stage? With such talent, if she specialized in martial arts, wouldn't she be awesome? Senior, you will agree, right? Just as Wang Kai was frowning and secretly marveling, Nalan Shuiyang, who was at the side, couldn't help but cry softly. Tears were almost rolling out of her eyes. Senior, please let me go. Get lost. Don't interrupt when Ben Shao wants to speak. Also, you want to be Ben Shao's servant. Do you think Ben Shao will agree? What's the use of having a man like you? It's better for you to be a girl. At last, Wang Kai's lips curled into a smile. Such a licentious appearance really caused the faces of the people who saw it to stiffen. Everyone knew what Wang Kai's plan. Senior, since you're so unreasonable, there's no need for me to continue begging. I hope that you can withstand the wrath of the Nalan family. Buzz. Suddenly, Nalan Ningxiong flipped his hand and took out the soul tablet. He was about to send his consciousness into it. No. You can't do that. Crack. Just as Nalan Shuiyang cried out anxiously, Wang Kai waved his hand. A streamer shot out and smashed the soul plate. She said you can't do that. So, as her master, Ben Shao has to help her. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed. Whoosh. Seeing this, Nalan Ningxiong's face turned pale. He looked at Wang Kai in despair. He could not believe that Wang Kai would be so rude. Also, don't say that Ben Shao is unreasonable. Since your warship is broken, you have to steal someone else's warship. Ben Shao can't do anything about it. However, you came to steal Ben Shao's warship. Tell me, do you deserve it when Ben Shao beat you up? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled disdainfully. People were often like that. When they provoked others, they would not say that they were in the wrong. On the contrary, when they were bullied, they would speak their mind. Given Wang Kai's temper, it would be his greatest fortune if he didn't kill this pretentious robber who tried to rob him. Trash, do you dare to kill me? Whoosh. Suddenly, Nalan Ningxiong stood up and stared at Wang Kai with disdain. Trash. In an instant, the air around them seemed to have stopped. Mu Sanyang, Nalan Shuiyang, and the guards were all frozen in place. They could not understand why Nalan Ningxiong would seek his own death. Do you think Ben Shao won't kill you? Wang Kai squinted his eyes. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Nalan Ningxiong had been acting tough all this time. No one had ever called him trash. Wang Kai thought that Nalan Ningxiong's behavior was ridiculous and infuriating. No. Master, please let my brother go. If you kill him, the elders in my family will find out about his death. By then. Shuiyang, shut up. Before Nalan Shuyang could finish her sentence, Nalan Ingxiong shouted at her with a cold face. When he looked at Wang Kai again, he sneered even more coldly. You don't dare, do you? Cowardly trash. You are a heavenly path realm expert, but you are so useless. Your legs are an obstacle. They should be cut off. Buzz. Poof. Woo. In an instant, Wang Kai, who had an indifferent look on his face, raised his hand and pointed a finger in the distance. Streams of wool swept out and pierced through Nalan Ingxiong's legs. Trash. Trash. Kill me if you have the guts. Kill me. You trash. Nalan Ingxiong, who had lost his legs, was held up in the air by Li Wei and the others. However, he was still shouting and cursing like a madman. Brother. No. Nalan Shuyang was so scared that her face turned pale. After a scream, she fainted on the spot and fell from the sky. What are you looking at? Take care of her. Wang Kai frowned and said lightly. Swoosh. Mu Sanyang glared at Wang Kai fiercely. Then, her body flashed and she caught the unconscious Nalan Shuyang in her arms. Your arms are also obstacles. Cut them off together. Buzz. Crack. Wang Kai raised his arm and pointed again. Dao Will swept out and Nalan Ingxiong's arms exploded in the air. He was originally a handsome young master, but now he had lost all 4 of his limbs. Waist. Nalan Ingxiong clenched his teeth under the intense pain and did not scream. He coldly glanced at Wang Kai and fainted on the spot after spitting out a word. His breath became very weak. If he was left alone, Nalan Ingxiong would definitely die. You want Ben Shao to kill you, but Ben Shao won't let you do as you wish. As for how strong the Nalan family is, Ben Shao would like to see it for himself. Unfortunately, he won't have the chance for now. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered with disdain. My new book, The Unparalleled God Devourer, has just been released. I am still in the process of signing the contract, so I can't find it for now. Thank you for your support. Chapter 732. Whoosh. Buzz. Wang Kai flipped his hand and flicked a drop of essence blood into Nalan Ingxiong's body, causing his limbs and injuries to heal rapidly. Even so, Nalan Ingxiong could not wake up due to the mental torture. Just like the injury he had suffered earlier, it would be impossible for him to wake up without a few days of rest. Buzhou Sky Palace. Whoosh. Then, while everyone was still confused about what Wang Kai wanted to do, a magnificent, domineering, and majestic palace appeared in the sky. Furthermore, that enormous golden palace was actually floating in the sky. Such a scene immediately caused everyone to swallow a mouthful of saliva. A level 9 flying palace magical treasure. A level 9 martial weapon. Oh my God! Who is he? How could he have such a magical treasure? The crowd exclaimed. Not only did he have a terrifying cultivation at such a young age, but the magical treasure he had was also terrifying. Since you have a martial weapon, why did you ask me to take out the warship? It's all destroyed now. Mu Sanyang blinked her beautiful eyes and snorted angrily. Without waiting for Wang Kai's explanation, she took Nalan Shuyang and flew into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Go back and tell the Nalan family that if they want to exchange for the siblings, they should bring their best treasure to the border between the Alchemist realm and the Tongtian realm. Wang Kai shrugged and said casually. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, Nalan Ingxiong's body was brought into the Buzhou Sky Palace by Wang Kai. Since the Nalan family was so powerful, Wang Kai wanted to see how powerful they were. Maybe he could meet an opponent like the demon god Zhang who, at that time, he could have a good fight. Wang Kai's biggest hope now was to find an opponent who was on par with him and fight a few rounds. What's more, the robbery had already landed on his head. If he didn't pay a price, Wang Kai would indeed feel unhappy. Guardly, what should we do? Should we save young master and young mistress? The guards at the side were worried when they saw the Buzhou Sky Palace flying away. If this continued, Hero Nalan's alchemist conference would definitely be defeated. Save him? How to save him? Can you do it? Or are you capable? Gardley coldly snorted with an ugly expression. He swept his gaze over the guards one by one. Wherever his gaze passed, they all lowered their head. Let's return to the Nalan family for the time being and report this matter to the family head. Since the matter has come to this point, there is no other way. Guard Li's expression was gloomy and uncertain. In the end, he could only sigh. Encountering a powerhouse like Wang Kai, there was really no way at all. If they had known earlier that he was so powerful, Bodyguard Li would never have chosen to rob his warship even if he was beaten to death. You don't even have a private room. Even if there wasn't, there should at least be a chair or something, right? Do you want Ben Shao to sit on the ground? At the same time, in Buzhou Sky Palace, Wang Kai scanned his surroundings with an unfriendly gaze, only to find that there was nothing in the hall. The spacious palace was completely empty. Master, there are some flaws in your treasure. Zhu Beiji couldn't help but chuckle as he looked around with the nine-toothed rake on his shoulder. Flaws? Wang Kai's face instantly darkened. He thought that a treasure like this palace would be extremely comfortable, but who would have thought that there wasn't even a seat? That's how a level 9 Imperial weapon works. It doesn't need the power of the heavens to fly and its speed is extremely fast. It's not something a level 8 Imperial weapon can compare to. Of course, everything has its pros and cons. Such a transcendent ability doesn't allow for any external object. Mu Sanyang said faintly. Plop. Hearing this, Wang Kai came to a realization and threw the unconscious Hero Nalan to the ground. Young Lord Kai, is the direction you set for Buzhou Sky Palace at the border of the alchemist's domain? Mu Sanyang suddenly blinked her beautiful eyes and asked. Seeing that Wang Kai seemed to have just discovered the use of a level 9 Imperial weapon, Mu Sanyang was a little suspicious. What? Can't it fly by itself? Wang Kai was stunned when he heard this, and he touched his nose with a puzzled expression. You really don't know? Mu Sanyang's expression froze. She quickly tapped her feet and her figure appeared at the entrance of Buzhou Sky Palace. Looking at the direction they were flying in, her beautiful eyes were dazed. Young Lord Kai, we are now heading towards the Eastern Domain. At this speed, we will reach the border of the Eastern Domain in less than half an hour. Hearing Mu Sanyang's words, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly. Zhu Beiji covered his mouth and secretly laughed at the side. Haha, of course. Ben Shao originally planned to take a look at the Yellow Spring Training Ground. Isn't the Eastern Domain the Yellow Spring Training Ground? Don't worry, everything is under Ben Shao's control. Wang Kai put his hands behind his back and smiled awkwardly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Going to the Yellow Spring Training Ground? Is this for real? Didn't he just say that he was going to meet the Nalan family at the border of the Alchemist's Domain and Tongtian Domain? Why did he say he was going to the Yellow Spring Training Ground now? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang blinked her beautiful eyes. Looking at Wang Kai's awkward expression, she understood what was going on. Wang Kai didn't know the exact method to control a level 9 Imperial weapon. Now that he said it, it was all a bluff to regain his face. Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang didn't pursue the matter. With the speed of a level 9 Imperial weapon, it would take at most 2 hours to travel between the two domains. Huan Ben Shao wants to test you. How do you determine the direction of a level 9 Imperial weapon? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with an unfathomable expression. Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes were dazed. She looked at Wang Kai in confusion. It was strange. They were already going to the Yellow Spring Training Ground. Why was he still asking this? She didn't know that Wang Kai was afraid of flying in the wrong direction again. At that time, he would lose all his faith. Just use your mind. Mu Sanyang said. Mind? You're not bad. You still remember the method to control a level 9 Imperial weapon. Bencheo's teaching was not in vain. Wang Kai nodded and smiled casually. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. What? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's expression froze. She stared at Wang Kai in disbelief. She couldn't believe that he was the one who taught her everything she knew about the celestial martial weapon. How could he brag like this? Buzz. However, Wang Kai didn't have time to look at her face. He secretly used his mind to communicate with the Heavenly Palace and set the coordinates to the Yellow Spring training ground. Master, there's something that I'm curious about. Did you summon Junior Brother Sha? I've been feeling that Junior Brother Sha is also in Tianzhou these days. Zhu Beiji said curiously. Chapter 733. Monk Sha? Wang Kai frowned when he heard that. He looked at Zhu Beiji in surprise and asked, He's still in Tianzhou? Where is he? Logically speaking, as long as the summoned powerhouses completed the task given to them, they should automatically disappear and return to their respective realms. If so, why did Zhu Beiji sense Monk Sha? Slap. F***ck. I forgot about it. Before Zhu Beiji could say anything, Wang Kai slapped his thigh. He was speechless. Previously, in order to summon Sun Wukong and control him, he had upgraded the summoning function. As long as it was not sent back with Wang Kai's permission, the summoned party could not go back. I don't know where he is, but he must be in Tianzhou. Moreover, he has converted the power of heaven, just like me. Zhu Beiji snorted. He had converted the power of heaven. He even left without permission. Did he want to stay in Tianzhou? Wang Kai was stunned when he heard that. He did not expect that Monk Sha, an honest person, would do such a sneaky thing. However, in the end, it was Wang Kai's carelessness that caused this. When he summoned Monk Sha, he did not pay much attention to him because of Mu Sanyang and her sister. As a result, Monk Sha ran away secretly. Sun Wukong, did he tell you that he was summoned? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a playful look. Whoosh. Zhu Beiji was stunned when he heard that. He said in surprise, Master, you are really amazing. Eldest senior brother did tell us a few times. He also told us to be careful. Oh, when you came, you should have known what was going on, right? In that case, why did you pretend that you didn't know? Did you want to stay? Or did you want to run out of Tianzhou alone? Wang Kai frowned and looked at him with a playful look. In that case, everything made sense. Monk Sha took the opportunity to escape because he knew about the summoning in advance. Zhu Beiji naturally knew about it. However, he did not have a chance because Su Mo was watching him. Humph, Master, I didn't think too much at that time. Zhu Beiji carried the 9-toothed rake and sat in the corner with a guilty conscience. Seeing that he was obviously lying, Wang Kai couldn't help but touch his nose and said with a playful smile, You said that you can sense Monk Sha because you don't like him being free and easy outside, so… Master, please spare this old pig. This old pig will confess. I'll confess. Zhu Beiji immediately blushed and waved his hands embarrassedly. Suddenly, he felt like he was confessing without being pressed. If he hadn't told Wang Kai about Monk Sha, Wang Kai probably wouldn't have noticed this. Monk Sha, you and Ben Shao, do you want to be a human? Come here and confess your sins. Buzz. Suddenly, Wang Kai put his hands behind his back and smiled faintly at the void. Master, could it be that you're able to capture him just by speaking? Zhu Beiji was stunned when he saw this. At first, he wanted to know what kind of ability Wang Kai had to be able to capture Monk Sha. If he did not, Zhu Beiji would naturally find a chance to escape. As long as he was not forcibly controlled like when he was just summoned, it would be easy for him to escape. Wuning, you have to be kind. Even if you're a pig, you have to be kind. Master has treated you well, right? I let you sleep with thousands of beauties. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled casually. Damn you, pig demon! Pig scum! In the distance, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes suddenly turned cold, and she glared at Zhu Beiji with disgust. Why are you scolding me? Although I slept with those beauties, they were given by Master. If you want to talk about the culprit, it's Master. Zhu Beiji snorted with dissatisfaction. If they were given to you, would you defile them? If I gave you a guillotine, would you chop off your own head? Pig scum! Mu Sanyang refuted without showing any weakness. The disdain in her eyes grew stronger. Zhu Beiji was speechless and did not know what to say. He was speechless and wanted to know why Mu Sanyang did not dare to talk about Wang Kai. Little did he know that Mu Sanyang had to rely on Wang Kai to find her sister and take revenge. In that case, even if she was dissatisfied with Wang Kai, she did not show it. Crack! Suddenly, the space in front of Wang Kai was torn apart. Within it, a young man in white robes appeared before him. He was dressed in an extremely elegant manner. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's expression froze. If the young man was not holding Monk Sha's special weapon, the demon-subduing wand, he would not have recognized him. Damn! You're living a good life, aren't you? Before Wang Kai could say anything, Zhu Beiji had already stood up and walked to the entrance of the Buzhou Sky Palace with the nine-toothed rake on his shoulder. He widened his eyes and stared at Monk Sha with an aggressive look. Zhu Beiji was living a good life. However, he was always under Wang Kai's control, so he felt uncomfortable. Monk Sha, on the other hand, was not only undisciplined, but he was also dressed very well. This was especially true for his face, which should have been skinny and honest. However, at this moment, he looked radiant and extraordinarily handsome. It could be seen that Monk Sha was living a good life in Tianzhou. Benefactor, what can I do for you? Monk Sha put his palms together calmly and bowed slightly to Wang Kai to greet him. Seeing this scene, not only was Wang Kai's mouth twitching, even Zhu Beiji felt extremely disgusted. Junior brother Sha, why are you still acting tough? It's a crime to act tough in front of our master. Zhu Beiji shook his nine-toothed rake and sneered disdainfully. Come in. Wang Kai waved his hand and Monk Sha was directly thrown into the Buzhou Sky Palace. As the palace gate closed, Monk Sha suddenly appeared a little flustered. You're Tang Sanzang? Monk Sha swallowed his saliva and looked at Wang Kai with panic in his eyes. Bang! Suddenly, Zhu Beiji stepped forward and hit Monk Sha with his rake, causing him to tumble a few times. He's not Tang Sanzang. He's the most powerful ruler in Tianzhou and also Zhu Beiji's master. Zhu Beiji said proudly. The most powerful ruler in Tianzhou. Monk Sha was stunned when he heard that. He whispered suspiciously, shouldn't the ruler of Tianzhou be the Empyrean Palace? Is my master the Empyrean Palace master? Bang! Ah! However, as soon as Monk Sha finished speaking, Zhu Beiji hit him again with his rake. This time, Monk Sha was beaten even more miserably. His body tumbled a few hundred times in Buzhou Sky Palace. What are you talking about? What's the Empyrean Palace master? He's just a bum in front of our master. Zhu Beiji held his head high and gloated at Monk Sha's misfortune. Looking at Monk Sha's lofty appearance, Zhu Beiji naturally could not stand it. Now that he could take the opportunity to teach Monk Sha a lesson, he was very proud of himself. Bang! Ah! Master, why are you hitting Zhu Beiji? Zhu Beiji, who was very proud of himself, suddenly felt as if he had been hit hard on the back of his head. He was slapped to the ground by Wang Kai. Wang Kai's face darkened and his forehead was full of black lines as he coldly snorted and said, You've already bragged, so what do you want Master to brag about? Chapter 734. I, old pig, am not bragging. I am telling the truth. Master, you may not know old pig. I, old pig, have never lied. Zhu Beiji harumphed as if he had been wronged. He carried his 9-toothed rake and walked to a corner with his lonely figure. Then, he sat down. This scene caused Wang Kai's mouth to twitch slightly. He thought to himself, this Zhu Beiji's bootlicking skills are really amazing. Pretentious. You're too pretentious. I can't imitate you. Monk Sha got up with bruises all over his face. He stared at Zhu Beiji fiercely, raised his arm and pointed at Zhu Beiji. His tone was full of disdain. As Zhu Beiji's junior brother, how could Monk Sha not know what he was thinking? However, he had never been a match for Zhu Beiji. This was the only thing that made Monk Sha very aggrieved. Well, you're not any better. You sneaked away to enjoy life outside. Before this, have you thought about how you're going to explain yourself when Ben Shao catches you? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a teasing smile. Whoosh. Hearing this, Monk Sha's face suddenly stiffened. He didn't even think about how he was going to explain himself when he was caught. It was better to say that he had never thought that he would be caught. In the distance, Zhu Beiji raised his arm, covered half of his face with his sleeve, and laughed gloatingly. I'm willing to be your disciple. I'll go through fire and water for you. Suddenly, Monk Sha's face turned solemn. He cupped his fists and bowed respectfully to express his stance. He thought that Wang Kai would respond with a smile, but to his surprise, Wang Kai showed a disdainful look. Do you think you can be my disciple just because you want to? Let's see if Ben Shao is willing to accept you as his disciple. You need to know that in this world, there are many people who want to become Ben Shao's disciple. Even the Empyrean Palace master you mentioned is Ben Shao's nominal disciple. All his achievements were taught by Ben Shao. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a disdainful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Heavenly Dao realm. Hearing this, Monk Sha's expression became increasingly ugly. His eyes were filled with panic and fear. Before he was summoned, he had heard Sun Wukong mention this matter. As a result, Monk Sha was deeply frightened. Even his eldest senior brother was summoned and successfully controlled. Sand Monk admitted that he was definitely not a match for Wang Kai. Moreover, not to mention Sun Wukong, even Zhu Beiji was obediently becoming Wang Kai's disciple. This proved that he was absolutely unable to defeat Wang Kai. Master, please accept me as your disciple. I'm willing to do anything for you. Bang! Suddenly, Monk Sha had no choice but to kneel down on one knee, clasped his fists, and begged again with a sincere face. Master, you can't just agree to his request. Pig knows Monk Sha well. He just wants to get out of danger temporarily. In the future, we don't know how to escape. Zhu Beiji suggested loudly from a distance. Whoosh! Hearing such words, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at Monk Sha suspiciously. Bastard! Second senior brother, you used to play tricks on Monk Sha. Now that things have come to this point, how can you kick him when he is down? You useless pig! When Monk Sha saw the change in Wang Kai's expression, he was instantly enraged. He immediately berated Zhu Beiji. Bullshit! It's Wuning! It's not incompetence! Zhu Beiji was also angry. He immediately waved his 9-toothed rake and stared at Monk Sha angrily. Ding! Do you think Monk Sha is afraid of you? I can fight you to a draw! Monk Sha roared angrily. He turned his hand and picked up the demon-subduing staff, ready to fight. However, in the end, the two did not fight. Both of them knew very well that even if they fought, the result would be a draw. In that case, there was no need to waste their strength to fight. Okay, you two don't need to quarrel. Monk Sha, I agree to accept you as my disciple. In the future, you will be the second junior fellow apprentice and Zhu Beiji will be the eldest senior fellow apprentice. Wang Kai waved his hand and said with a rather speechless expression, Thank you, master. I will do my best to protect you. Monk Sha was overjoyed when he heard that. He quickly threw the demon-subduing staff on the ground and cupped his fists to express his attitude. Second junior brother, take my rake. Buzz. Bang. Plop. Suddenly, before Monk Sha got up, Zhu Beiji had already taken the opportunity to attack him. With a swing of his rake, Monk Sha was directly knocked to the ground. F***CKU. Buzz. Ding. Monk Sha roared in pain. He immediately rolled over, picked up the demon-subduing staff, and started to fight with Zhu Beiji. I didn't expect Monk Sha to be so rude. Cough cough. It seems that the journey to the west has made them very depressed. Wang Kai touched his nose and shook his head, finding it funny. Thinking about their respective experiences, it was obvious. Zhu Beiji became a great demon in the Gaolao village and scared the villagers. Monk Sha was even more powerful. He became a man-eating aquatic demon underwater. If he had not been enlightened later, he would have been even more arrogant. However, in Wang Kai's opinion, those enlightening were useless. It was nothing more than Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji agreeing to it because they wanted to escape from the sea of suffering. In fact, there was still violence in their hearts. Are these two disciples of yours really okay? Mu Sanyang glanced at Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha with disdain. Then, she sneered with disdain. Of course it's fine. No matter how they look on the surface, they still have good intentions in their hearts. Everything they do and their current personalities are because they were forced to do so. Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand carelessly. Was he forced? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang was puzzled. Two such powerful cultivators, who could force them to do anything. Little did they know that the person who forced them was not in this world. Palace Master, we have arrived at the border of the Netherworld domain. There are many cultivators blocking us below. Should we force our way in? Suddenly, a mechanical voice appeared in Wang Kai's mind. Palace Master? Wang Kai squinted his eyes slightly. He did not care about the Netherworld domain. Instead, he asked in confusion, Who are you? Why do you call Benshao Palace Master? Palace Master, I am the spirit of the Buzhou Sky Palace. You are the owner of the Buzhou Sky Palace. Naturally, you should call me Palace Master. Swoosh. Upon hearing these words, Wang Kai finally came to a realization. He never expected that there would be an artifact spirit in Buzhou Sky Palace. Moreover, he had even become the Palace Master. There is no need to force our way in. Let's go to the border between the Alchemist domain and the Tongtian domain. Wang Kai activated his mind and smiled casually. Bastard! Where did this ignorant brat come from? How dare you invade my Netherworld domain with such a flying Dharma treasure? Why don't you get down here and accept your death? However, as soon as Wang Kai gave the order, a roar rang in his ears. He immediately frowned and black lines appeared on his forehead. Wait, there is no need to change our path. Chapter 735. Rumble. When the gates of Buzhou Sky Palace opened wide, close to 100 cultivators in black robes entered their eyes. The leader was a child who looked to be only 8 or 9 years old. He was wearing an eye-catching red robe, and there was a pungent smell of blood circulating around him. Compared to the other experts, the violent demonic aura around him was different. It was extremely prominent. TSK, what a strong demonic aura, what a strong smell of blood. Are you trying to kill Benshao with your aura? Why are you staring at me? When Benshao robbed and preyed on the villagers, you weren't even born yet. Wang Kai sneered with disdain with his hands behind his back. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. It was just that the expressions of these shoujo were too uncomfortable. It was as if they were the only ones who were superior and looked down on all living things. Coupled with the lingering demonic aura and the pungent smell of blood, It really made people very uncomfortable. Especially Wang Kai. He couldn't stand seeing people who were better at bragging than him. Hee, leave this flying magic treasure and your life, and I'll let you die in one piece, the leading child said faintly. His voice was incomparably young, but there was a sense of awe. Whoosh, whoosh. At the same time, nearly 100 cultivators in black robes all waved their hands and shot out streams of demonic aura. They spread out and surrounded Buzhou Sky Palace. There was no blind spot. You want the magic treasure and you want your life. Little brother, don't go astray. Come, follow me in the future. I promise I'll teach you how to be a gentleman and be respected by all living things. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said with a playful smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Wang Kai and the others could naturally tell that this red-clothed child's true age was definitely over 3,000 years old. His cultivation realm was definitely not lower than the divine realm. The other cultivators were also in the divine realm. Wang Kai had never thought that there would be such a powerful cultivator in this borderland. Kill them all. Make sure their corpses are in good condition. Later, I will devour them one by one. The red-clothed child glanced indifferently at Wang Kai. After saying that, he floated down from the sky. It was as if he believed that Wang Kai and the others were dead for sure. This kind of strong confidence and decisive tone made the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitch. Kill! One. All of a sudden, the 100 or so experts waved their hands and channeled their demon chi. They transformed into ghosts with green faces and fangs. They swung their giant hammers and charged at Wang Kai and the others from all directions. Old pig, old sand, I'll leave them to the two of you. Remember to leave them alive. Later, Ben Shao will teach them a lesson one by one. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled playfully. Hearing such a familiar command, Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha were speechless. They wondered what was so cool about the child's line. Little did they know that Wang Kai intended to do so. He was just returning an eye for an eye. Whoosh! Sure enough, as soon as he said that, the red-clothed child on the top of the mountain suddenly raised his head and stared coldly at Wang Kai. Rumble! Rumble! Then, the sky was suddenly covered by waves of dark demon chi. Wang Kai and the others were all shrouded in it. The ghost body waved its giant hammer and bombarded the devil chi with indiscriminate attacks at an extremely fast speed. How dare you go against the 13th son of the Acheron Manor? You deserve to die here today. Watch your attacks. Don't break their bodies. Don't worry. As long as you control your strength, the giant hammer made of demon chi will only hurt their divine souls and will not damage their bodies. I know that, so I have to remind you to control your strength. Otherwise, the 13th son will kill us all. Wang Kai, who was in the demon chi, was speechless when he heard those words. He looked at the giant hammer that was flying down and hitting his body, but he did not feel anything at all. With the invulnerable body, the hammer could not even get close to his body. On the other side, Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji were also waving their demon-subduing wands and nine-toothed rakes to turn the giant hammer into nothingness. Buzz! In the blink of an eye, as the demonic chi dissipated, Wang Kai and the rest stood in the air. Their expressions were extremely strange as they looked at them. It was strange. They had been fighting for a long time, but they did not cause any substantial damage. What were they doing? Moreover, they did not suffer any damage. Instead, they were smiling coldly as if they had already won. Master, are they all idiots? Zhu Beiji asked in a strange tone as he carried the nine-toothed rake. Beside him, Monk Sha nodded in agreement. Even if they are not idiots, they are definitely idiot. Humph, although we can't see through your cultivation, this demon pig and the pink-faced kid are both at the peak of the 9th grade of the heavenly Tao realm. Haha, they don't think that we can't defeat them, right? It's normal. After all, we are only at the heavenly reversal realm. It's normal for them to look down on us. If they don't look down on us, how can they succeed? Those cultivators were all laughing and chatting with each other. Their casual manner made Wang Kai and the others even more dumbfounded. Did they really meet an idiot? Once the demon chi enters your body, your cultivation will be restricted regardless of your cultivation realm. You can use the power of heaven and see if you can use it. The red-clothed kid suddenly sneered. Whoosh! Hearing that, Wang Kai frowned and secretly used the power of heaven, but he did not find anything strange. Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji, who were standing beside him, were the same. Their expressions were strange. Were your continuous attacks just now just to show off? The real attack was the demon chi that filled the air just now? Wang Kai touched his nose and asked in surprise. Of course. Otherwise, how can we, who are only at the heavenly reversal realm, dare to attack someone at the heavenly Tao realm? Now, you shouldn't be able to use the power of heaven, right? Ah! The 100 or so experts burst into laughter. Master, old pig doesn't want to fight with them anymore. I feel that they are all idiot. Zhu Beiji carried the 9-toothed rake and snorted speechlessly. Monk Sha also grinned and looked at those experts with extreme disgust. In his heart, he also didn't want to fight with them. Wang Kai couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. The reason why he was fine was because of his impenetrable body. The demon chi couldn't penetrate his body at all. As for Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha, the reason why they were fine was probably because of the difference in strength. One must know that the power of heaven that they possessed now was only converted from the Earth Fiend 36 transformations. The essence of their power didn't belong to this world. Old pig, old sand, quickly send them flying. Ben Shao suddenly doesn't want to teach them a lesson. It's useless to teach these idiots a lesson. Wang Kai waved his hand and said impatiently. Chapter 736. Humph, let old pig do all the hard work. Zhu Beiji snorted in dissatisfaction. He turned to carry the 9-toothed rake and stared at those cultivators angrily. Did you hear that? When you go to hell, when the king of hell asks you how you died, remember to say my master's name, Wang Kai. Get lost. Buzz. Rumble. In an instant, under Zhu Beiji's rake, those cultivators were all blown into pieces, turning into a rain of snow and sprinkling down from the sky. In one move, they were all wiped out. No one was left alive. It could be seen how aggrieved Zhu Beiji was. He had always been lazy. Even if it was a fight, he found it troublesome. Second master, cough cough, senior brother, Amitba, don't you think you are a little too heavy-handed? Monk Sha frowned and said with an unbearable expression. F***CKU, too heavy-handed? Are you a Buddhist cultivator now? You are now a pampered young master, okay? Don't F***King Amitba with old pig, F***King your ass. Zhu Beiji snorted impatiently. You master, look at how heavy-handed he is. Sooner or later, he will be burned by the fire of karma. Monk Sha could only look at Wang Kai in anger. However, Wang Kai's words made Monk Sha dumbfounded on the spot. Sha Wujing, you dress so fashionably. It is true that you are kind-hearted, but after all, you are not a Buddhist cultivator now. So, what Wuning said is right. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with a playful expression. Swish. Hearing this, Sha Wujing was extremely helpless for a moment. He couldn't help but glance at those cultivators who had turned into a rain of blood. He murmured in his heart, damn it, I was wrong. If I knew that master likes this, I would have taken the lead just now. If such words were heard by Wang Kai and the others, who knew what they would think? Little brat, you must be very surprised now, right? Wang Kai frowned. His eyes were filled with mockery as he looked down. He looked at the red-clothed child who was raising his head and allowing the blood rain to fall on his face. He looked as if he had lost his mind. Not bad at all. You guys are really interesting and strong, so strong that this young master can't stop himself. I can't wait to swallow all of you right now. Become the source of this young master's power. 1. Suddenly, the red-clothed child sneered. He stuck out his tongue and swallowed the blood at the corner of his mouth. A bloody light flickered in his eyes. He's a little weird, Zhu Beiji said with a cold look on his face as he carried the nine-toothed rake. I'll leave this monster to old Sha. Whoosh. In an instant, Sand Monk, who was eager to fight, waved the demon-subduing staff and rushed down from the sky, heading straight for the red-clothed child. Ha ha, let's not fight for now. I hope you can run faster. 1. Crack. Rumble. However, when old Shah's demon-subduing staff smashed down, the red-clothed child's figure had already disappeared, leaving behind half of the mountain peak that Sand Monk had destroyed. A divine realm cultivator from the netherworld underworld had actually dodged the attack of a peak 9th grade heavenly Dao expert. Such a scene truly caused Wang Kai to be greatly astonished. Have they prepared an escape route in advance? Haha, that's interesting. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with an indifferent expression. Being able to escape from the red-clothed child, who called himself the 13th young master smoothly. This proved that they had already chosen an escape route from the moment they started to block him. Moreover, only the 13th young master could escape from this escape route. The rest of the cultivators were already buried here. Master Sha Wujing was inwardly annoyed when he saw this. He originally wanted to show off, but now, he had completely let his opponent escape. Wouldn't this be embarrassing for him? What about you? As the second young master, you will always be inferior to the eldest young master. Otherwise, why didn't you become the eldest young master? Accept your fate. Second junior brother. Zhu Beiji chuckled, adding insult to injury. You. T. You can become the eldest senior brother because you came earlier than old Sha. Sha Wujing immediately retorted in dissatisfaction. What? You still dare to not accept it? Then let's fight. Let's fight. Do you think old Sha is afraid of you? You useless pig. F***ck. You're the useless one, you're the useless one. Clang. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing began to fight in the sky. They shattered the mountains and caused the rivers to flow in reverse. The power was as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. It was really frightening. I didn't expect your two disciples to be so powerful. Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes blinked slightly and her tone was filled with surprise. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. They were indeed powerful, but they were still far from being able to dominate Tianzhou. Who knew what realm was above the heavenly Dao realm? It seemed that he had to find a way for them to break through their current realm. With this thought in mind, Wang Kai stopped paying attention to their fight. He stepped into the air with his hands behind his back and secretly communicated with the system. Is there a way for Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing to break through in this world? Under the premise that there is no need to convert their strength. Host, there is a way. However, the system will not help others. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai sighed helplessly. He thought to himself that the system could only help him. If he wanted to help Sha Wujing and Zhu Beiji, he had to rely on other methods. Otherwise, their strength was completely different from that of this world. It was impossible for them to break through to the next realm. Are we going to the Netherworld realm or the Tongtian realm? Mu Sanyang was speechless when she saw Wang Kai standing there in a daze. It was obvious that he did not know how to use the rank 9 imperial weapon. That was why he went in the wrong direction and came here. Now that he was here, he could save his face, but he did not say anything. Could it be that he was going to stay here forever? Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile, Yes, I won't go to the Yellow Springs domain for the time being. If I go to that trash place, I'll scare the entire Yellow Springs domain into smithereens. So, for the sake of everyone's safety, I'll go to the border between the Alchemist's domain and the realm of Tongtian. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai shouted at Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing, who were fighting under Mu Sanyang's disdainful gaze. You two, stop fighting. Come back quickly. We have to go and show off. Humph. I'll spare your life. Hee hee, for the sake of my master, I'll spare your life too. Swoosh. In the blink of an eye, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing stopped fighting. They snorted coldly and flew into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Chapter 737. At the border of the Alchemist's domain, which was the border between the realm of Tongtian and the realm of Tongtian, there were mountain ranges that were connected to each other. Clouds and mist were faintly discernible, making this place look like a fairyland. After flying for more than half an hour in the Buzhou Sky Palace, they arrived here. Along the way, because they were flying at high altitudes and extremely fast, they didn't attract any attention. Why don't you dare to kill me? Inside the Buzhou Sky Palace, Neilan Xiong, who had just woken up, shouted at Wang Kai with a fierce expression. Especially when he saw that Neilan Shuiyang was unconscious, he regretted robbing Wang Kai's warship, but at the same time, his hatred for Wang Kai became even stronger. But there was no medicine for regret in this world. If you did something wrong, you had to pay the price. Any reason and justice would have nothing to do with you after you've done something wrong. If you didn't want to be treated like this, why did you take the initiative to provoke Wang Kai? It seems that you haven't been beaten enough. Ben Shao doesn't dare to kill you? Ben Shao disdains to kill you because you are trash. Forget about the robbery, you actually dared to rob Ben Shao's warship. You did something wrong, but you don't have the courage to bear the consequences. Wang Kai shrugged and glanced at him with disdain. If it weren't for Neilan Shuiyang's good character, why would he talk nonsense with him? Not killing them was already an act of mercy. To Wang Kai, it was normal to be killed after failing to rob. I dare to bear the consequences. As long as you let Shuiyang go, I will do anything you want me to do, even if you want my life. Neilan Xiong shouted with an ashen face. Hearing this, Wang Kai curled his lips in disdain and said with a contemptuous smile, Is there such a good thing in this world? Since you did something wrong and provoked Ben Shao, how to deal with you will naturally be decided by Ben Shao. May I ask, what qualifications do you have to negotiate with Ben Shao? Are you an idiot? You, Neilan Xiong's face suddenly stiffened, and his heart became more and more regretful. Of all people to mess with, he just had to mess with Wang Kai. At first, he thought that with the Neilan family's status, everyone in the Alchemist's domain would give them some face. Unfortunately, he ran into Wang Kai. He didn't care about the madman from the Neilan family at all. Master, why are you talking nonsense with him? Trash like him who wants to pretend to be a bandit? Just throw him down to his death. Zhu Beiji snorted impatiently. Hearing this, Monk Sha nodded in agreement. Although I was not present, I also heard it clearly. Not only did they fail to rob others, but they were also tied up. But they still acted so righteously. They should be thrown away. Low profile? Has he ever been low profile? He has always been high profile, okay? Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing were both speechless in their hearts, but they could only smile and nod their heads repeatedly. They really had no choice. If they said anything wrong, they would definitely be taught a lesson by Wang Kai. Young Master Kai, why don't we enter the Tongtian domain? Why are we stopping here? Could it be that you really want to wait for the experts of the Neilan family to come? Mu Sanyang frowned, her beautiful eyes full of disbelief. At first, she thought that Wang Kai was just saying it casually to save face. But now, they were simply waiting for a fight here. You actually contacted the Nalan family? Nalan Ingxiong was shocked when he heard this. He looked at Wang Kai with a shocked expression. He couldn't believe that he actually dared to go against the Nalan family. Is he not afraid of death? Or is he really so strong that the Nalan family can't deal with him? That's impossible, right? Ben Chao said before that he wanted to see how awesome your Nalan family is. Since that's the case, he naturally has to do what he said. People still need to be honest and keep their promises. That's the standard of being a person. You have to learn from Ben Chao in the future. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Looking at Wang Kai's pretentious nonchalance and the words he said, it was hard for them to accept it. For a moment, everyone felt like covering their faces. Chapter 738. Ha ha ha, you're courting death. You're courting death. You can't blame anyone else. Suddenly, Nalan Ingxiong laughed out loud. He despised Wang Kai's idiotic behavior to the extreme. Because of this, Nalan Ingxiong was no longer worried. As long as the Nalan family came, Wang Kai would definitely die. At that time, he and Nalan Shuiyang would be able to escape safely. Although Nalan Ingxiong regretted that he would lose the qualification to win the alchemy conference, there was no other way. All he wanted was to kill Wang Kai. Then, all his anger would vanish. Ben Chao has been cultivating for hundreds of millions of years. He doesn't know how to write the word death. I advise you not to have too much hope, lest you fall into a deep abyss. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Brag. Brag to your heart's content. Your arrogance will let you know what death is. The Nalan family will be the last mentor in your life. Nalan Ingxiong laughed heartily. He was so excited that he looked like he was going crazy. Why are you laughing at your mother's ass? Get lost. Buzz. Slap. In an instant, Wang Kai shouted and waved his hand. A few slaps landed on Nalan Ingxiong's face. Nalan Ingxiong spat out blood and rolled a few times. He even spat out a few teeth. You deserve it. If I were Old Pig, I would have killed you with my rake. You're so annoying. Zhu Beiji snorted with disdain. Not to mention Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji, who were annoyed by Nalan Ingxiong, even the honest monk Sha and Third Lady Mu, who never cared about anything, were annoyed by him. He didn't look like the son of the Nalan family. He was like a mad dog, the kind that was intoxicated by success. He must have eaten a mad dog. Monk Sha said disdainfully. Ha ha. Wang Kai was stunned by his words. He couldn't help but laugh and gave Monk Sha a thumbs up. He's so good at cursing. Cough, you'll die miserably. Definitely. Even if you're a heavenly Dao realm expert, you'll die here. Moreover, no alchemist in the alchemist domain will dare to save your life. Nalan Ingxiong got up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He sneered crazily. Sai, you'd better go to sleep first. If this young master looks at you, he won't be able to hold himself back and will kill you. Wang Kai shook his head, speechlessly waving his hand to slap her. Bang! Plop! Suddenly, with a slap, Nalan Ingxiong was smashed to the ground. Master, Zhu Beiji. He looked down on Nalan Ingxiong. After all, Nalan Ingxiong had threatened to kill him when he was driving the warship. If killing him could solve the problem, this young master would have killed him long ago. You need to know that sometimes not killing him can make him suffer more than killing him. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. Ba. Master, do you want to wait for the Nalan family to arrive, and then kill all of them in front of him and let him fall into the abyss? Monk Sha put his palms together and said with an unbearable expression. If that was the case, Wang Kai's methods were simply too ruthless. This method was indeed more ruthless than killing Nalan Ingxiong. The Nalan family that had filled Nalan Ingxiong with hope had rushed over from the brink of death, but had been easily exterminated. It was easy to imagine the drastic difference between them. Master, he's pretending to be a monk again. Do you want me to teach him a lesson? Zhu Beiji stared at Nalan Ingxiong and seized the opportunity. Whoosh! Hearing this, Monk Sha's face suddenly stiffened. He put down his hands and said coldly, "Second. Senior brother, I can't erase my habits as quickly as you." Hee, you mean I'm a fence-sitter? Aren't you? Why don't you shout that you don't want to follow master? Zhu Beiji waved his nine-toothed rake and walked toward Monk Sha. Monk Sha was furious. If he dared to say that, he wouldn't follow Wang Kai now. Of course, Monk Sha didn't want to go back to the original world. How good was it in this world? He didn't need to eat meat and pray to Buddha. He could live a carefree life. But more importantly, Monk Sha didn't like to be bound. Therefore, he had always been reluctant to follow Wang Kai. In the past, wasn't it because he was controlled by someone and made a mistake that he was expelled from the heaven realm and became a river demon? Now, Monk Sha didn't want to repeat the same mistake. Who knew what he would do wrong and be punished by Wang Kai again? Alright, stop fooling around. Also, you don't have to worry. Ben Shao is a wise king. Even if you make a mistake, Ben Shao won't treat you that way. Well, the premise is that you don't fight with Ben Shao for a beauty and don't betray Ben Shao. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th stage, Heavenly Dao Realm. Host: Wang Kai. Occupation: Heavenly Martial Artist Realm. 9th stage, Heavenly Dao Technique. Astronomical Phenomenon, Heavenly Martial Technique. Extermination, Thunder Fire Blade, Chi Lock Step, Undying Shield, Lightning Speed Blade Equipment. Ever-Changing Fan, Heavenly Saber, Heavenly Crown, Heavenly Armor, Heavenly Palace Power of Heaven. Level 9 Astral Origin Points. 0 Physique. Invulnerable Protector Spirit Beasts. None Bragging Points. 75,000 Experience. 050000000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at it and urged his mind to close it. He smiled indifferently in his heart. It's just another 1 million experience points. It's just another bragging. What's the big deal? Ben Shao is a bragging god who can make the heavens collapse and the earth rend. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Yes, Master Wu Jing understands. Although Monk Sha didn't believe it, he still maintained a respectful expression on his face. As for the wise king that Wang Kai mentioned, not betraying him was reasonable, but not snatching women, what kind of rule was this? How could there be a wise monarch who would set such a rule? Don't worry, old Shah. It's just a woman. You might not know, but I, old Zhu, was rewarded with thousands of beauties by my master. TSK, those few days in the cave were very happy. But, cough, it was also very tiring. Zhu Beiji smiled proudly. Whoosh. Hearing this, the corner of Monk Sha's mouth suddenly twitched. His forehead was full of black lines as he stared at Zhu Beiji and snorted coldly. I don't like women. Don't compare me with you. Ahead is the palace where Hero Nalan and Nalan Xiang were kidnapped. Suddenly, a voice rang out from afar, causing the expressions of Wang Kai and the others to shake. Is it finally here? Chapter 739. Swoosh. Hearing Wang Kai's shout, the faces of the Nalan family elders on the warship changed drastically. All of them appeared to take a look nervously. However, when they saw the tragic scene in front of them, many of the elders widened their eyes and mouths. Their eyes were filled with horror. There should have been tens of thousands of cultivators, but now there were only a few thousand left. Moreover, the number was still rapidly decreasing. Those cultivators who were knocked down from the sky were all lying on the ground. They had lost their fighting strength and looked like dead dogs. And the ones who caused all this were only 2 cultivators. The person involved, Wang Kai, who was the strongest according to the information, did not even make a move. God! What kind of demons are they? How can they be so strong? Damn it! Shut up, open your eyes and take a good look. The strongest heavenly Tao realm has not lost. Ah! Rumble! Rumble! Before the Grand Elder, Nalan Wudi, could finish his words, he saw that the few heavenly Tao realm experts were all beaten black and blue. They lost their fighting strength and fell from the sky. At the same time, there were only a few hundred cultivators left out of the 1,000. Even if they wanted to escape, they could not do so. They were all caught by Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing, and were all knocked down from the sky. Oh Huan bring that confident kid over. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile. Swoosh! Mu Sanyang, who was in the Buzhou Sky Palace, heard this and recovered from the shock. She obeyed the order and brought the unconscious Nalan Ingxiong to Wang Kai's side with the power of the heavens. He's awake. F*CKU. Isn't your Nalan family very awesome? Slap. Slap. Suddenly, Wang Kai flipped his hand and slapped the unconscious Nalan Ingxiong a few times, waking him up from his slap. Ha ha ha, you must have been threatened by the Nalan family experts to let me go, right? You trash. You trash. You trash. Just as Nalan Ingxiong was laughing maniacally in a complacent manner, a scene that caused his voice to stop abruptly. A scene of despair also appeared before his eyes. The warship in front of them was indeed the Nalan family's warship. On it were the elders of the Nalan family. However, those elders were all kneeling on the boat, their faces ashen and their bodies trembling. Their eyes were filled with fear as they kowtowed and begged Wang Kai for mercy. Looking down, the ground was covered with the bodies of Xiuzhe. There were a great number of them, tens of thousands. All of them were lying on the ground with a weak aura, unable to move. Among them, Nalan Ingxiong knew a few heavenly Tao realm experts and was very familiar with them. This is impossible. No. Impossible. In an instant, Nalan Ingxiong hugged his head and screamed crazily. His disheveled appearance made him look no different from a lunatic. He could no longer bear the mental blow and torture. The Nalan family is awesome. Tens of thousands of troops came to show off, but instead of showing off, they were killed. Nalan Ingxiong is going crazy. Good poem, good poem. Ha! Wang Kai placed his hands behind his back, and suddenly shook his head and laughed loudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. This is considered a good poem? Zhu Beiji, Sha Wujing, and Mu Sanyang's lips twitched when they heard this. They were speechless at Wang Kai's impromptu poem. Shut up! You shut up! You shut up! Nalan Ingxiong's face turned red. He hugged his head and curled up his body. He lost his balance and fell from the sky. Go to hell! You trash! Scum! Bang! Buzz! In an instant, Wang Kai turned his hand and was about to slap Nalan Ingxiong. However, a palm print came down and just as it was about to touch Nalan Ingxiong, it suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Nalan Ingxiong's figure disappeared. Little friend, where it's possible to make mistakes, one should spare them. Buzz! Following the sound of an aged voice, the Nalan family's warship suddenly disappeared. The practitioners on the ground also disappeared along with it. During this period there was no trace of Wang Kai. Oh no! Nalan Shuyang has disappeared. Suddenly, Mu Sanyang, who was taking care of Nalan Shuyang in the Buzhou Sky Palace, screamed. This caused Wang Kai's eyebrows to furrow fiercely as he coldly laughed. I wonder which shameless bastard dares to provoke this young master? Wu Junyun from the heavenly martial divine palace. Buzz! As the old voice sounded again, Wang Kai still could not find any trace of him. His cultivation was definitely above the heavenly Tao realm. Even Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing could not find anything strange. Heavenly Martial Divine Palace. Wu Junyun, Ben Shao will remember you. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled coldly. However, there was no reply from the old voice in the surrounding void. At the same time, on a mountain peak thousands of miles away, the void was torn apart. The Nalan family's warship and the cultivators on it appeared. Thank you, Senior Wu, for saving us. The Nalan family will remember this kindness. Many elders of the Nalan family cupped their hands and thanked a figure sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak. There's no need for that. 7,000 years ago, the old man owed the Nalan family a favor. Today, he has repaid it. You may leave. The white-haired old man waved his hand in a tone that was filled with the vicissitudes of life. His eyes, however, looked in the direction of Wang Kai. Is it a good or bad thing to provoke him? Should I kill him to prevent future troubles, or should I not kill him? On the mountain peak, the old man's mutterings reverberated, and his figure had already disappeared. Master, the expert just now was very strong. Zhu Beiji might not be a match for him. He should have reached senior brother's cultivation. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing looked at each other with fear in their eyes. The senior brother they were talking about was undoubtedly Sun Wukong. If that's the case, Sun Wukong has surpassed the shackles of the heavenly Tao and reached a higher realm? Haha, as expected of the great sage, heaven's equal. Impressive. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered inwardly. Wang Kai was naturally extremely displeased with the sudden appearance of an inexplicable expert who had disrupted his plans. However, there was nothing he could do. Do you have a way to break through the shackles of the heavenly Tao realm? Wang Kai asked with anticipation. If Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing could reach that level, they would definitely be his greatest help. Of course, Wang Kai was also confident. However, there were times when one person alone couldn't solve anything. After all, he was facing the Sky Martial Divine Palace, one of the top 3 forces in the Tianzhou region. It's impossible in the Tianzhou region. Damn it, I originally thought that Zhu Beiji's cultivation would be enough to dominate the Tianzhou region. Who knew that there would be someone who could stand shoulder to shoulder with the horse protector? Zhu Beiji snorted in dissatisfaction. Sha Wujing's face was also ugly. Chapter 740. Was it impossible to break through the shackles of the heavenly Tao realm in Tianzhou? Wang Kai frowned slightly when he heard this. He stared at Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing. After thinking for a while, he said, "That's easy. I will temporarily send you back to your original world. You just need to make the breakthrough quickly." Swoosh. Hearing this, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing's expressions changed. They looked at each other and quickly shook their heads to refuse. "No, master. You don't know that if we go back like this, we'll be taught a lesson by that damn horse protector. Moreover, it's not that easy to break through the original realm. At least, we need to reach the Western Paradise and achieve enlightenment." Zhu Beiji scratched his head and said in distress, "After reaching the Western Paradise and achieving enlightenment? Damn, you guys haven't finished collecting scriptures?" Ben Shao remembers that the last time I summoned Sun Wukong, he was already the victorious fighting Buddha. Wang Kai frowned and said with a surprised expression, "Victorious fighting Buddha?" Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing looked at each other and shook their heads. They said doubtfully, "That's impossible. The horse protector you summoned is a fake? It shouldn't be. Eldest senior brother mentioned this before. He even said that he met the black and white impermanent." Swoosh. As soon as these words came out, Wang Kai suddenly understood. It turned out that the one he summoned in the Sky Reaching School was Sun Wukong, who had finished collecting scriptures. He was given the title of Victorious Fighting Buddha by Tathagata. And the Sun Wukong he summoned in the Soul Break Valley in the Eight Desolations was the same as Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing. They were still collecting scriptures. They hadn't achieved enlightenment. If that's the case, the Sun Wukong after achieving enlightenment has surpassed the heavenly Tao. Then, can't Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing do the same? What if I summon them after achieving enlightenment? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. Moreover, the victorious fighting Buddha still remembered that he had summoned him before. This proved that he had summoned a Sun Wukong twice. It was just that the time and space were different. However, the memories were still retained. Even if he summoned Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing after achieving enlightenment, they still had the memories of the present. Since that was the case, why not? You two go back for now. Master will let you come back later. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile. No, Master. F***ck. I haven't had enough. In an instant, under Wang Kai's command, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing both disappeared and returned to their previous world. Great Summoning Cleansing Altar Emissary Zhu Beiji. Great Summoning Technique, Golden Arhat Sha Wujing. Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the summoning function. A total of 20,000 bragging points have been consumed. Hearing the prompt, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched fiercely. He secretly thought that the bragging points required to summon Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing were quite high. He had even surpassed Sun Wukong. However, when he thought about it, it made sense. When he summoned Sun Wukong last time, he didn't say that he was going to summon the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong. It just so happened that the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong, was summoned. Hence, the bragging points were not high. But now, it was Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing who were achieving enlightenment. Each of them required 10,000 bragging points. If he summoned Sun Wukong who was achieving enlightenment, how much would it cost? Master, Zhu Beiji misses you so much. Master, Zhu Beiji misses you too. Patter. Ding. All of a sudden, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing, who were dressed in Buddhist robes, took off their Buddhist robes that were glittering with jewels. Even the prayer beads in their hands were thrown far away. They stared at Wang Kai with a longing look, as if they had suffered a great grievance. Wang Kai felt goosebumps all over his body. It seems that the two of you still remember. Wang Kai nodded gently and smiled. Of course we remember. Just now, this place has become our nightmare for more than 10 years. After obtaining the Western scripture, we have to continue to be monks, abstaining from meat and chanting Buddhist scriptures all day long. Zhu Beiji is better as he can eat something good. But I can't even see a woman, let alone eat. Sha Wujing cried. Bullsh*t Sha. When did you start to like women? Weren't you disdainful of women in the past? Zhu Beiji scolded with a dark face. You're the one who's bullsh*ting. It's not that I'm disdainful. It's just that I didn't want to talk about it back then. Sha Wujing snorted coldly. Ugh. They're already King Buddhas, but they're still acting like this. It seems that the serious Buddha was just a facade. They're just pretending to be serious. Wang Kai shook his head and was speechless. Master, the cultivation of the expert from before is not as high as ours. That's right. They're far from it. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing said with a proud expression. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He found it strange. After achieving enlightenment, what cultivation level would they be in Tianzhou? Convert your strength and see what cultivation level you're in, Wang Kai asked curiously as he squinted his eyes. There's no need to convert. In the way of the heavens, the cultivation level of any world is the same. Zhu Beiji said as he took out the 9-toothed rake and placed it on his shoulder. That's right. After surpassing the way of the heavens, the cultivation level is called the 10-star realm. The power that we seek is also the astral source from the extraterritorial starry sky. Sha Wujing said. Astral Source. Extraterritorial starry sky. 10-star realm. Wang Kai was startled when he heard this. He hurriedly urged his mind to open the system page he belonged to. Host. Wang Kai Profession. Heavenly Martial Artist Cultivation Level. Level 9 Heavenly Path Technique. Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth Heavenly Martial Technique. Extermination Thunder Fire Blade, Airlock Step, Immortal Shield, Swift Blade Equipment. Shapeshifting Fan, Heavenly Blade, Heavenly Crown, Heavenly Armor, Bujo Heavenly Palace Heavenly Power. Level 9 Astral Source Points. 0 Physique. Invulnerable Guardian Beasts. None Bragging Points. 58,000 Experience. 3000000500000 inch. Could it be that the star source points recorded on it are what the 10-star realm needs? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself with a rather surprised expression. What are the 10-star realms? Sha Wujing frowned and said, We only know the levels of the first 4 stars. Starting from the first star, there are astral sources, astral guards, astral generals and astral lords. We're in the second star, the astral guards. Zhu Beiji snorted angrily and said, Humph. That damn horse protector is much stronger than us. He's in the 4th level, the Star Lord. I heard that he often goes to the extraterritorial starry sky and fights non-stop. He's about to reach the 5th level. The first level was the astral source realm. The second level was the Star Guard realm. The third level was the Star General realm. The 4th level was the Star Lord realm. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this, and the corners of his mouth could not help but curl into an inexplicable smile. Now that he knew what he was about to face, everything was naturally easy to discuss. What level is Wu Junyun from the Heavenly Martial Palace? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a mocking smile. Him? He's just an astral source. He'll die with a single blow, Zhu Beiji said with disdain. Chapter 741. Is he just a first-star realm cultivator? Wang Kai smiled curiously when he heard this. He was only 1 cultivation level higher than Wang Kai, but the gap between them was so great that Wang Kai could not even detect his presence. 10-star realm. Looks like Ben Shao needs to brag more. Sigh. He could have broken through by just bragging, but Ben Shao likes to train hard. What a waste. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed in his heart. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Master, those who destroyed Windflower City and took away Sky Reaching School were all 10-star realm cultivators. Moreover, more than 5 of them have surpassed the Star Guard realm. Zhu Beiji suddenly said seriously. Star Guards who had surpassed the 2nd star realm. More than 5 of them. Even Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing didn't know their exact cultivation level. 10-star realm. I didn't expect there to be such a cultivation level in Tianzhou. Mu Sanyang was stunned. She had thought that the Heavenly Path realm was the peak of Tianzhou. Who would have thought that there were even stronger existences above it? Actually, Mu Sanyang had been suspicious since Wu Junyun appeared. After all, Wang Kai and the others were at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Path realm. Their heavenly powers were also at the top level. Even so, they still couldn't stop Wu Junyun. They couldn't even find him. Now that she had received confirmation, Mu Sanyang suddenly felt that she was a little ignorant. It wasn't that there weren't stronger realms in Tianzhou. It was just that very few people knew about them. It's just the 10-star realm. Back when Ben Shao dominated the extraterritorial region, no one in Tianzhou could reach this level. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Wang Kai waved his hand and smiled casually. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 1st grade Celestial Origin realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 10-star realm. Heavenly powers have transformed into star powers. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining star powers. You have reached star powers level 1. Congratulations to the host for successfully becoming a star martial artist. The reward is 10 star source points. Host, you can use star source points to exchange for experience. 1 star source point can be exchanged for 10,000 experience. Host, Wong Kai Profession, Star Warrior Realm, Grade 1 Astral Source Star Magic, None Star Technique, None Equipment, Ever-Changing Fan Star Power, Level 1 Star Source Points, 10 Physique, Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beast, None Bragging Points, 60,000 Experience, 05000000. Hearing the series of notifications and the system page that appeared in front of him, Wong Kai glanced at it and couldn't help but grin. All of the Daos, Heavenly Martial Arts, and Heavenly Martial Weapons disappeared. It was not qualified to be recorded by the system. They were replaced by Star Techniques, and Star Warriors. Wong Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, this breakthrough is different from the previous ones. Everything has changed. How strong is the 10th star realm in the starry sky? Just like what Zhu Beiji said, Sun Wukong went to the starry sky to cultivate when he had nothing to do. In that case, those powerhouses who had reached the 10th star realm in Tianzhou had probably gone to the starry sky too. Otherwise, how could there be star source in Tianzhou, where heavenly power existed? Without star source, how could one reach the 10th star realm? Interesting. Wong Kai shrugged and smiled playfully. Then, he used his mind to close the system page. Exchange star source points for experience. Congratulations to the host for successfully exchanging 100,000 experience points. A total of 10 star source points were used. The corners of Wong Kai's mouth involuntarily twitched when he heard the notification. 1 star source point could only be exchanged for 10,000 experience points. Based on the amount of experience he currently needed for a breakthrough, he would need 100 star source points. How do I obtain star source points? Host, you will obtain 10 star source points every time you break through to the next realm. You can also obtain them by killing powerhouses of the 10th star realm. The number of star source points obtained will depend on the realm of the killed powerhouse. Buzz. If you kill a person of the same realm, you will obtain 100 star source points. If you kill a person of a higher realm, you will obtain 200 star source points. If you kill a person of 2 higher realms, you will obtain 300 star source points, and so on. As the system notification appeared in front of him, Wong Kai glanced at it and suddenly understood. In that case, if I can only obtain 10 star source points for breaking through to the next realm, I might as well kill someone. Wong Kai shrugged and pursed his lips speechlessly. 100 star source points were equivalent to 1 million experience points. It was no different from bragging. Sigh, forget it. Ben Shao is the devil of the world and has killed countless people. If you really want to calculate, I'm afraid he can even cover the sky and not even fit the earth. Wong Kai shook his head and sighed, pretending to have experienced the vicissitudes of life. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have obtained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Master, what's wrong? Hearing Wong Kai's sudden boast, Zhu Beiji and Shao Wujing both felt that it was somewhat abrupt. It's nothing. Ben Shao is just lamenting and reminiscing about the memories of turning into a devil and killing people. Wong Kai waved his hand and smiled, pretending to be nostalgic. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have obtained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. To be able to brag to such an extent, he was really the only one in the world. Zhu Beiji and Shao Wujing glanced at each other, secretly feeling admiration in their hearts. Young friend, I'm sorry. Your existence is too dangerous. Therefore, I can only come here to kill you to prevent you from harming the Sky Martial Divine Palace in the future when you grow up. Buzz. As an old voice sounded, an old man in a gray robe appeared in front of the Buzhou Sky Palace. He had his hands behind his back and looked at Wang Kai and the others with a face full of vicissitudes. Originally, Wu Junyun could have left after saving the Nalan family. However, when he thought of Wang Kai, he panicked. Therefore, Wu Junyun had no choice but to come here and kill Wang Kai to prevent any future troubles. Old man, isn't it a little late for you to come back now? Wang Kai was stunned. He rubbed his nose and smiled curiously. It's not late at all. Master, you don't know. He has lived long enough and wants to die early. Zhu Beiji laughed as he carried the nine-toothed rake. Why did you come back? Once you come back, you will never be able to leave. Do you know that? Stupid C***NT. Sha Wujing snorted with disdain. Swoosh. Faced with Wang Kai and the other two's mockery, Wu Junyun was stunned. Where did they get their courage and guts from? How dare they talk to me like that? Previously, he couldn't even catch the trace of his aura. They couldn't do anything when I saved the Nalan family. But now they said that I can't leave? Young friend, you're quite interesting. Let this old man see just what kind of ability you have. Wu Junyun stroked his beard and smiled proudly. Chapter 742. Poke the sect leader of the Sky Sect. Hearing this, Wu Junyun's face turned livid. He clenched his teeth and roared, Bastard! Are you toying with old man? Oh yeah. Ben Shao is toying with you. What can you do? If you don't have the strength, stop acting tough and get beaten up. Why bother? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled disdainfully. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wu Junyun held his breath. He had never imagined that the young man before him would be so despicable and infuriating. You're at the first level of the celestial source realm, right? Sigh, what a pity. There's no benefit in killing you. How about this? Follow Ben Shao for now and be his guard. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. No matter what, Wu Junyun was a celestial source realm expert from the Sky Martial Divine Palace. His status must be extremely high. Moreover, killing Wu Junyun, who was one level lower than him, would not give him any system rewards. Since that was the case, he might as well keep him as a bodyguard. With his status in the Sky Martial Divine Palace, he would be able to solve many unnecessary problems. You want this old man to be your guard? Die. One. Whoosh. Suddenly, Wu Junyun let out a furious roar. Filled with rage, he directly attacked Wang Kai with all his might. What are you doing? Why are you so agitated? What are you trying to do? Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand casually. Pa. Bang. What? In an instant, Wu Junyun suffered a heavy blow and was sent flying back while vomiting blood. Cough cough. Kill me. Not only did I fail to kill you, I was killed instead. This old man is willing to die. Wu Junyun said as he clutched his chest and coughed up blood. Just Wang Kai alone had a cultivation that surpassed his. Behind him, there were two other powerful experts. They would definitely be defeated in this battle. Rather than being humiliated, why not just die? That would be more satisfying. Didn't Ben Shao say it just now? I want you to be Ben Shao's personal guard. Although there's no reward, at least you can act tough. You know, in the Tianzhou, no one dares to not give face to Ben Shao. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked very proud. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. A warrior prefers death to humiliation. Wu Junyun scolded sternly. Oh my God! Since you've learned how to take advantage of me, then I won't kill you. I'll humiliate you. Old pig, old Sha, the two of you go and strip him of his clothes. After that, hang him on the gate of Buzhou Sky Palace and leave behind a note from Wu Junyun of Sky Martial Divine Palace. Whoosh! Wu Juanyun's face froze when he heard this. Then, his expression changed drastically as he berated, "How can you be so shameless?" However, Wang Kai did not pay any attention to him. "Yes, master. Old pig, will do it now." "No. I promise you. This old man promises you." Suddenly, when Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing came over, Wu Junyun was unable to restrain himself and chose to compromise. As an expert of Sky Martial Divine Palace and a Celestial Source Realm expert, he could not afford to lose face. Although it was shameful to be the guard of a younger generation, it was better than being stripped naked and hung up. "Wouldn't it have been better if you did this earlier? Why bother?" Wang Kai squinted his eyes when he heard Wu Juanyun's words. A playful smile appeared on his face. Looking at Wang Kai's smile, Wu Juanyun's body trembled uncontrollably. Of all people? Why did he have to meet such a little devil? "Let's go. We'll fight our way to the Tongtian domain." Buzz. As Wang Kai floated into Buzhou Sky Palace, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing followed closely behind him. Wu Junyun gritted his teeth when he saw this. His eyes turned red, but in the end, he could only sigh helplessly and enter Buzhou Sky Palace. Tongtian Domain. Unlike the other realms, the realm of Heaven Span had always been unified. Without the permission of the Heaven-reaching Church, there would never be any private conflicts. However, as Buzhou Sky Palace flew into Tongtian Domain, martial artists and forces everywhere started fighting. It would not be an exaggeration to say that blood flowed like rivers. Huan didn't you just say that Tongtian Domain was peaceful? Could it be that in your eyes this is peace? Isn't that too shocking? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said speechlessly, "I'm talking about the past. Ever since Sky-reaching Church fell to the bottom of the 3,000 forces, Tongtian Domain has been in chaos. If it weren't for Empyrean Palace, Underworld Palace and Sky Martial Divine Palace, there would be countless casualties by now." Mu Sanyang glared and said unhappily, "This little girl must be the concubine of the 6th Domain Master, Mu Sanyang, right?" "You're right. That's exactly what the realm of Heaven Span is now. However, things have changed in recent days," Wu Junyun said in a deep voice after glancing at Mu Sanyang in surprise. "Changed? What do you mean?" Wang Kai asked curiously. "Take a look and you'll know," Wu Junyun said as he pointed below. Swoosh. Upon hearing this, Wang Kai and the others followed his finger and looked down. Below them, there was no longer chaos and fighting everywhere. Instead, it had become a peaceful scene. People would smile and greet each other when they met. F***ck. Could it be that what I just saw was an illusion? Wang Kai was instantly stunned when he saw this scene, and he grinned while feeling extremely speechless in his heart. It's not an illusion. The Sky-reaching Church has returned. Moreover, they've reoccupied the Sky-reaching domain. They've started from the Sky-reaching mountain gate in the center. They've begun to suppress the chaos and unify the entire domain. Although he sounded indifferent, Wang Kai could hear a hint of mockery in his tone. It seemed that Sky Martial Divine Palace, where Wu Junyun was from, did not have a good relationship with Sky-reaching Church. If that's the case, the Sky-reaching Church is probably the one who destroyed Wind Flower City. Wang Kai frowned and said helplessly, "It must be because of Xia Xinyan. Because, at that time, Xia Xianyan was imprisoned in the romantic floor. Now that they heard that Sky-reaching Church had returned recently, it proved everything." Sky-reaching Church. Just as Wang Kai expected, Mu Sanyang turned into a bone-chilling avenger. Her cold eyes seemed to be able to make people fall into an abyss. Wind Flower City was destroyed? Or Sky-reaching Church? That's impossible. No matter how whimsical the Sky-reaching Church is, it's impossible for them to go to the 6th region and cause trouble. If those old guys were so impulsive, they would have been removed from the ranking of the 3,000 forces, Wu Junyun waved his hand in disbelief. If it's not Sky Reaching Church, who else could it be? Don't forget that Sky Reaching Church was in the 6th domain at that time. However, their mountain gate flew away recently. He can testify that he followed the mountain gate of Sky Reaching Church all the way to Windflower City. Mu Sanyang pointed at Zhu Beiji and said sternly. Chapter 743. Haha, Master Mu, why do you have to be so serious with me? This old man was just making a suggestion. You can go to the Transcending Heaven Immortal cult and ask for an explanation if you have any solid evidence and your cultivation base. Wu Junyun waved his hand and said with a laugh. Whoosh. As soon as he said this, Mu Sanyang's gaze shifted to Wang Kai. Her eyes were cold, but there was a hint of anticipation in them as she stared at Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang didn't need to think to know what she was thinking. Huan every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. If the Transcending Heaven Church really destroyed the romantic floor and snatched your sister, then we can't let any of the culprits off. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders. His expression was rather indifferent as he said with a smile. What about those who didn't do anything? Mu Sanyang asked, gritting her teeth. Those who didn't do anything, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect Mu Sanyang to be so murderous. Judging from her tone, it seemed like she wanted to annihilate the entire Sky Reaching School. Huan there is a friend of Ben Shao in the Sky Reaching Church. Since Ben Shao started cultivating, he has been accompanying Ben Shao until now, so, I know. As long as we can take Wanwan back and kill those who should be killed. Mu Sanyang waved her hand and said coldly. That being said, everyone could tell that Mu Sanyang didn't think that way. After all, in Windflower City and the Romantic Floor, regardless of whether they were related or not a single person had survived. Even so, Wang Kai wouldn't help her destroy the Sky Reaching Church. Lord Cat was there, and it was enough for him to protect the Sky Reaching Church. Young friend, you don't want to go to the Sky Reaching Church to ask for an explanation, do you? If that's the case, I'll say it first. I really can't do anything. Wu Junyun shook his head and said firmly. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows. He turned around, looked at Ben Shao contemptuously, and said indifferently, Don't forget that you're my guard. Moreover, you don't need to provoke Ben Shao. Just go to the Sky Reaching School. Ben Shao knows better than you about the realm of the powerhouses there. Just pretend I didn't say anything. Wu Junyun waved his hand and sighed in disappointment. He had originally thought that if Wang Kai fought his way to the Sky Reaching School, he would not be a match for the Sky Reaching School with his celestial source cultivation. Even the Star Guards and Star Generals couldn't do anything to the Sky Reaching School. Unless a Star Lord showed up, there was nothing to talk about. However, it was a pity that Wang Kai didn't buy it. It was obvious that he wouldn't rashly attack the Transcending Heaven Church. Master, this old man is very naughty. Let him take the lead and play to his heart's content in the Sky Reaching School. Zhu Beiji suddenly grinned and said with a smile. Sha Wujing also nodded in agreement, looking at Wu Junyun with a mocking gaze. You're delusional. Wu Junyun immediately panicked. If he was really forced to go to the Sky Reaching School to cause trouble, he would definitely be beaten black and blue. In fact, he might even lose his life there. Delusional? What do you mean? Ben Shao is letting you go. What can you do? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a cold smile. Whoosh. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing surrounded Wu Junyun from both sides. It was obvious that they were ready to attack at any time. It's all right. I just feel that there's something I need to tell you. In less than 2 days, the Sky Reaching School will definitely unify the Sky Reaching School. At that time, there will be a banquet. The powerhouses of the 6 regions and 3,000 forces will all be present. Wu Junyun said, gritting his teeth. Unifying the sky-reaching school and holding a banquet? Is it just to celebrate? Presumably, the main reason is that the sky-reaching school wants to take revenge. Those who had suppressed the sky-reaching school will not have a good ending. After that, what's in it for Ben Shao? If they really gathered together, then wouldn't this young master have to face even more enemies? Old man, do you still want to frame Ben Shao? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a rather unfriendly expression. No, no, no. Those forces have already found the netherworld underworld and tried to make peace with the Empyrean Palace. However, I'm afraid that the sky-reaching school won't succeed. Wu Junyun quickly waved his hand and explained. The Empyrean Palace, the netherworld underworld, the current number 1 and number 2 forces. When the sky-reaching school comes back, I wonder what their ranking will be. If the negotiation fails, will the transcending heaven church fight with the 9 heavens imperial palace and the yellow spring underworld? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and asked curiously. Of course, but the scale of the battle will be very small. After all, the overall strength of the sky-reaching church is very strong, not much weaker than the 9th heaven palace, and much stronger than the yellow spring underworld. Therefore, the battle will only be between experts above the celestial source realm. Wu Junyun said. Is the sky-reaching church's overall strength very strong? Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He really couldn't tell how he was strong. Could it be that a lot of experts have suddenly appeared in the sky-reaching church this time? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes as he thought inwardly. At the same time, he naturally understood Wu Junyun's agreement. As long as the celestial origin realm experts of the sky-reaching cult and the 9 heavens palace and the yellow spring underworld palace fought, it would be the best time. All the celestial source realm experts were busy fighting. Who would have the time to care about him? When the time comes, as long as you follow the Sky Martial Divine Palace team to the sky-reaching church, you can leave when the battle starts. This old man will take care of this matter, Wu Junyun said confidently. Haha, you old man. After all, you just want to use this opportunity to return to the Sky Martial Divine Palace. If I really let you go back, wouldn't Ben Shao be dead? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered disdainfully. With the current cultivation of Wang Kai, Zhu Beiji, and Sha Wujing, they really couldn't defeat the 9th Heaven Palace, the Yellow Spring Underworld Palace, and the Sky Martial Divine Palace. The sky-reaching church would definitely not be a match for them. Since that was the case, they had to be careful. One wrong step and they would lose everything. But there's no other way. Of course, if you have the strength to blend in with the 3,000 forces, everything will be fine. However, you have to be careful. If you want to enter the sky-reaching church, you will have to go through an inspection. Every force has its own uniqueness. Little friend, do you think you can blend in perfectly? As soon as Wu Junyun finished speaking, Wang Kai's brows furrowed. Indeed, every force had their unique point. For example, the sky-reaching church had an identity token that could be used to send messages and verify one's essence blood. Once they were thoroughly inspected, there was no way they could escape. This is simple. As long as Old Pig uses the 36 transformations, won't it be fine? Old Sha can do it too, Zhu Beiji said casually as he waved his 9-toothed rake. Hearing this, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes slightly. Just as he was about to finish speaking, Wu Junyun waved his hand and interrupted him. No. Any transformations won't be able to escape the inspection of the sky-reaching church. Wu Junyun said firmly. Chapter 744. No, my ass. Is my 36 transformations something a puny first-grade astral origin like you can understand? Am I right, old Shah? Zhu Beiji snorted proudly. That's right. If you want to see through the 36 transformations, your cultivation must be higher than ours or you must have a special sky eye, Monk Sha said seriously. Higher cultivation than Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing? The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly at these words, while Wu Junyan shook his head and sighed with a smile. There were many people with higher cultivation than Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing in the sky-reaching church. Moreover, there were many people with special abilities such as the Sky Eye. Transformations can't be used, Wang Kai said, shaking his head. If transformations were useful, he would not have been forced to show up by the great elder in the sky-reaching church. Even if he could change his appearance, he would still need an identity token to prove his identity. Wang Kai believed that his existence was not allowed by the sky-reaching church. If he entered rashly and took out his identity token, he might get into trouble. Looks like I can only use the system's ability to change my appearance to that of a disciple of another force. At the same time, I have to take his identity token and other items to prove my identity. As for the essence blood, Wang Kai frowned as he pondered in his heart. This method was feasible, but there was still a shortcoming. No matter what item to prove one's identity, it must contain the essence blood. What if he could not take it out when the time came? Damn it. I don't care. I'll just summon Sun Wukong. He's in the 4th star realm, or even the 5th star realm. He's already invincible in the Tianzhou region. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. Hey, Master! Stop the Buzhou Heavenly Palace. Yeah. If we go any further, we'll reach the center of the sky-reaching church. Young friend, you can't do that. If the people of the sky-reaching church find out that I'm with you, there will be trouble. Young Master Kai, stop the Buzhou Sky Palace. As Mu Sanyang and the others made a ruckus, Wang Kai snapped out of his daze. He looked around and found that they were already at the center of the realm of Tongtian. Furthermore, many experts in the surroundings had already noticed the presence of the Buzhou Celestial Palace. Wait in Buzhou Heavenly Palace for now. 1. As his voice faded, Wang Kai's figure flew out. He shrunk the Buzhou Sky Palace and kept it in the system. Swoosh, swoosh. At the same time, many experts were hurriedly flying over from all directions. Their auras were all ridiculously strong. The weakest was at the celestial deity realm. Among them, there were dozens of heavenly Tao realm experts. Damn it! As expected of the central area of the strongest territory, the experts that exist here are more powerful than the last. Wang Kai cursed in his heart. Boy, hand over that flying-type magical treasure. 1. As a cold voice sounded, a middle-aged man in a white robe with white hair and eyebrows appeared in front of Wang Kai. Similarly, as soon as the middle-aged man's voice faded, the other experts also arrived. Hand over the flying magical treasure. We'll spare your life. That's right. If you don't want to die, hand it over quickly. In an instant, thousands of experts gathered in the sky, blocking Wang Kai's escape route. Moreover, the dozens of experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Tao were at the forefront of all the experts, ready to strike at any moment. However, what surprised Wang Kai the most was the white-haired middle-aged man who was the first to arrive. He was standing right in front of him, much higher than the experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Tao. Wang Kai squinted his eyes, glanced at the white-haired middle-aged man, and sneered coldly. Hee, a group of Heavenly Tao realm weaklings dare to rob Ben Shao. You must be tired of living. At the same time, there were still many experts looking up from below. The number was simply incalculable. The reason why those experts did not charge forward was definitely because the weakest among them was at the Heavenly God realm. Even if they came, they would not gain anything, and might even lose their lives. Humph, where did this brat come from? His tone is quite, all of you, shut up. Suddenly, just as those experts opened their mouths to berate him, the white-haired middle-aged man spoke in an indifferent manner. His white pupils swept across the surroundings. Everywhere they passed, everyone involuntarily took a few steps back. Even the experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Tao had fear in their eyes. By Jiuyo, Even if your combat strength surpasses ours, don't forget that this is the Tongtian domain, not the Tianwu divine region. That's right. Now that the experts of the Tongtian sect have returned from the extraterritorial area, what right do you have to stay in the Tongtian domain? Get out of here! Bang! Rumble! However, before those experts could finish speaking, Baijiu waved his hand, and their bodies were smashed into pieces. They turned into a rain of blood and flew down from the sky. With one blow, more than a dozen experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Tao were killed on the spot. Such a move caused the other experts' expressions to change. All of them swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and their hearts were filled with fear. Not bad, not bad. Although your cultivation is only at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Tao, which is a little low, your heavenly energy is at the 9th grade. Moreover, your combat strength has surpassed the strength of a 9th grade heavenly energy. Wang Kai praised with his hands behind his back. Whoosh! Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched, and they stared at Wang Kai with disdain. It was not the turn of a young boy to comment, right? Give me your flying magic treasure, and I can guarantee that you will be unimpeded in the Tongtian domain. Baijiu said indifferently. A mere 9th grade Heavenly Tao, even if his combat strength was much higher, he still had the guts to rob. It seemed that he had been underestimated. Alas, I have to say, it's a sad thing that others can't see through my realm. It's completely based on my age to judge the strength of my cultivation. How sad. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed silently in his heart. Why, however, just as Wang Kai was about to tease him, Baijiu's voice resounded in Wang Kai's mind. He used secret voice sending instead of speaking directly to his face. Senior Wu Junyun, I don't know what your relationship is in your flying magic treasure, but if you agree, I can take you out of here. At that time, you can let Senior Wu out. If we are friends and not enemies, I will not hurt you. It turned out that he was looking for Wu Junyun. Wang Kai suddenly understood. No wonder those people said that he was from the Sky Martial Divine region. In this case, he really came from the same region as Wu Junyun. Chapter 745. In that case, Suemo could not agree to his request. If Suemo agreed to let Wu Junyun out, they would become enemies. After all, no matter how much Wu Junyun feared Suemo, he could not hide the fact that he had been coerced. Since there was going to be a fight, why drag it out? How dare you threaten Ben Shao secretly with a voice transmission? You're just a little trash at the 9th grade of the heavenly path. Besides, do you think you can pose a threat to Ben Shao? Wang Kai sneered disdainfully with his hands clasped behind his back. Whoosh! Everyone was shocked by Su Mo's words. They could not believe that a young man in his 20s could be so audacious. Baijiu, since he doesn't appreciate your kindness, why don't you step back? Yes, do you want the sky-reaching church to make you leave the Tongtian realm? It's not the time for the sky-reaching church to hold a banquet. You're leaving too early. In an instant, many experts asked Suemo to leave. Since Baijiu was here, no one dared to do anything to Wang Kai. Haha, I'd like to see what you've got. Baijiu ignored those experts and continued to transmit his voice secretly. He smiled indifferently and stepped out of the encirclement of the experts. Seeing that, the experts heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they despised Baijiu. No matter how powerful Baijiu was, he was afraid of the sky-reaching church. As long as the sky-reaching church was there, no one in the Tongtian realm would dare to offend them. In fact, this was the case when the sky-reaching church was there. Even though the Empyrean Palace was ranked higher than the sky-reaching church, they did not dare to offend the sky-reaching church easily. Boy, hand over your flying Dharma treasure. It's too late. You'll lose your life. Hearing the condemnation of the many experts, Wang Kai couldn't help but rub his chin. With a playful smile, he said, "Who do you think you are? Get lost. Bastard. Since you don't know what's good for you at such a young age, don't blame us for being ruthless. Kill. Cut the crap. 1. However, before those experts could make a move, Wang Kai made the first move. He took out his folding fan, and with a wave of his hand, waves of terrifying blue airflow swept out. This. Heavens! Who exactly is he? Rumble! Rumble! In an instant, under the assault of the blue starry sky energy, many experts were sent flying in all directions. Regardless of whether they were celestial gods or heavenly Tao realm experts, they did not even have the strength to resist. With one strike, thousands of experts were severely injured and fell from the sky. At this moment, the originally crowded void appeared extremely spacious. Other than Wang Kai and Bai Jiuyo in the distance, there was no one else. This scene caused the countless experts below to tremble with fear. There were even some who did not dare to continue watching as they fled with their tails between their legs. Who would dare to seize a flying-type magic treasure owned by such a young expert with a monstrous cultivation base? Wouldn't that be risking their lives? Benshao said just now that you are just a bunch of trash. How dare you rob Benshao? You should feel lucky. Benshao is a merciful person. Under normal circumstances, he will not kill. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. A merciful person? Hearing such words, Bai Jiuyo's pupils constricted slightly. No matter how one looked at it, Wang Kai was definitely not a soft-hearted person. It was surprising that he could say such words. Starry sky energy. Judging from the power of your stellar source, it should be grade 2 stellar source, Bai Jiuyo said indifferently. Even though Wang Kai had defeated so many powerhouses in one move, it did not make him feel too emotional. At most, he was a little surprised. He had thought that Wang Kai was just a young lad, but now it seemed that he was not. Oh? You are right. However, Benshao is really strange. Your realm is only grade 9 heavenly path. Even though you have grade 9 heavenly energy, you can't see through Benshao's cultivation. Are you hiding your cultivation? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. In his heart, he was shocked that he could not see through his realm. In this way, it also proved that his real realm should be above his. The realm he showed was only grade 9 heavenly path, but his real realm was unfathomable. Let Senior Wu out, Bai Jiuyo said indifferently. What realm is he in? In desperation, Wang Kai could only secretly urge his mind to communicate with the system. He could not see through it because his realm was not high enough. However, the system could definitely see through it. Host, this person's realm is extremely high. He is in the second realm, grade 3 Star Guard. The second realm. The Star Guard realm. He was actually in the same realm as Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing. Haha, you're a third-grade Star Guard, yet you actually call Wu Junyun Senior. This is truly surprising. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes as he spoke with a mocking smile. Whoosh! As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Jiuyo's face suddenly changed, and his expression became gloomy. He had never thought that this spear-headed brat would actually be able to see through his true realm. Could it be that he also hid his real realm? Was the grade 2 star source realm just a facade? Who are you? Why did you imprison Senior Wu? Bai Jiuyo said coldly, and his expression became alert. After Wang Kai revealed his real realm, Bai Jiuyo repeatedly peeped at Wang Kai's realm, but all he got was a blank. He could not see through it at all. This also proved that Wang Kai's realm was either higher than his, or he had a supreme treasure to protect himself and hide his real realm. Benshao's name is Wang Kai, and he is the sect leader of the Sky-Stabbing sect. His sect is located in the depths of the extraterritorial starry sky. Oh, you may not know that the star area where the Benshao sect is located is called the Death Star area. Wang Kai shrugged and said with an unfathomable smile. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Death Star area. You are actually from that area. All of a sudden, Bai Juyo's eyes were filled with terror and shock. Wang Kai was stunned when he saw the fearful look on his face. F***CK. What the hell? The Death Star region that he had casually made up actually existed? And judging from Bai Juyo's expression, the Death Star area seems to be very powerful? What do you mean by Ben Shao is from that area? Think carefully before you speak, okay? Ben Shao is the dominator of that area. Do you understand? Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and reaching grade 3-star source realm. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and gaining 10-star source point. Chapter 746. The Dominator of the Death Star Area. Whoosh. As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Juyo frowned and snorted with an extremely cold expression. Although I don't know where you found out about the Death Star region, you actually call yourself the Death Overlord. How laughable! Alas, why is it that no one believes Ben Shao when he speaks the truth? The Death Star area is a rubbish place and it is just Ben Shao's vacation place. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed helplessly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. How arrogant! Since you are not willing to hand over Senior Wu, don't blame me for being ruthless. Buzz. Rumble. In an instant, Bai Juyo flipped his hand and threw out a blue palm print. The blue palm print began to expand infinitely. In the blink of an eye, it had become a palm larger than the Buzhou Sky Palace. D***MNit. Starguard Realm, old pig, come out and kill him. Buzz. Wang Kai cursed when he saw this. He immediately took out the Buzhou Sky Palace and released it with his mind. Then, Zhu Beiji's figure appeared from within. Humph, he is just a lower-grade Starguard trash. Master, watch carefully. Whoosh. Zhu Beiji sneered with disdain. He waved his 9-toothed rake and slammed it against the giant palm. Rumble. Rumble. Following a series of explosions in the air, the blue palm print dissipated into nothingness. Peak Starguard. Who are you? Bai Juyo's pupils shrank when he saw that. The astral source power that Zhu Beiji had just displayed was definitely at the peak of astral source power. It was 6 grades higher than his. Peak 9th grade Starguard. I, Zhu Beiji, am Marshal Tianpeng. I am now the disciple of Master Wang Kai. If you know what's good for you, get over here and kneel down to accept your death. Zhu Beiji snorted proudly. He swung his 9-toothed rake and carried it on his shoulder. Marshal Tianpeng? A disciple of Wang Kai's master? Bai Juyo did not understand what he said, but it was not important. After all, what he said had proved how powerful Wang Kai was. An expert at the peak of the Starguard realm was Wang Kai's disciple. How powerful was Wang Kai? Unfathomable. Are you really the dominator of the Death Star area? No. That is impossible. If the Death Dominator left the Death Star area, there would be experts who would stop him. Who are you? Who the hell are you? Bai Juyo frowned. Her expression was uncertain for a moment. What Wang and the others had brought him was too shocking. A peak Starguard could become a young man's disciple. That was too. I have told you 800 times. Ben Shao is the dominator of the Death Star area. He is known as the Death Dominator. It means that whoever acts tough in front of Ben Shao, no matter what realm they are in, will die. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully acting tough. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Haha, what Master said makes sense. As the dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky, I have to be so. Zhu Beiji laughed. He liked the feeling of acting tough. The dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky. However, Bai Jiu sneered and said disdainfully, "You said you are the Death Dominator, and now you say you are the dominator of the extraterrestrial starry sky. Haha, do you think the Death Dominator can control the extraterrestrial starry sky? Isn't that so? Ben Shao can easily become the dominator of any place. For example, in Tianzhou, Ben Shao is the dominator now. Whoever you want to die will die." Wang Kai shrugged and said with a rather indifferent smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully acting tough. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Crazy. Crazy enough." Bai Jiu was stunned by his words. He had to admit that it was admirable that Wang Kai could reach such a level at such a young age. His boldness and arrogance were truly admirable. Whoever he wanted to die would die. Was this something that anyone dared to say? "I am Bai Jiu, a cultivator from the White Tiger Star. When I went out to train, I was ambushed by my enemies. In order to escape, I fell into Tianzhou. Thanks to Senior Wu's help, I recuperated in Tianzhou for 100 years and recovered. Now that I have recovered, I will naturally leave Tianzhou and return to the White Tiger Star. However, before that, I would like to repay Senior Wu's help. Although I don't know who you are, I hope you can release Senior Wu. When I return to the White Tiger Star in the future, I will definitely thank you with a great gift." After listening to Bai Jiu's brief description of her relationship with Wu Junyun, Wang Kai came to a sudden realization. No wonder Bai Jiu could have such a cultivation at such a young age. It turned out that he was not from Tianzhou, but a cultivator from the White Tiger Star. "Thank you with a great gift? What great gift? You led an army to take revenge on Ben Shao. Are you risking your life? TSK, Bai Jiu, you must have lost your mind after 100 years of recuperation. Do you have the nerve to use such a clumsy delaying tactic?" Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a look of disdain. Swoosh. However, Bai Jiu was not moved at all. Instead, he looked solemn and said firmly, "Don't compare me with those treacherous villains. If you can make an exception, I will keep my word. I will never go back on my word." "Master, why don't we trust him this time? I've heard about the White Tiger Star from that damned horse protector one. It's one of the 4-symbol star zone and is extremely powerful. If we can establish a connection with the White Tiger Star, Lao Sha, Master, and I will be able to achieve breakthroughs at an extremely fast pace." Zhu Beiji transmitted his voice to his master. Wang Kai squinted his eyes. He knew nothing about the 4-symbol star region. However, since Sun Wukong had mentioned it, it proved that it was useful. Although it was useless for him to break through his cultivation, it was a good choice for Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing to quickly raise their cultivation. Moreover, Wu Junyun was only at the celestial source realm. He did not need such a servant. It was better to use him in exchange for a favor from Bai Jiu. With that thought, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. He placed his hands behind his back and smiled calmly. "I can agree to your request. However, how are you going to convince Ben Shao? I'm not afraid to tell you this. That old man Wu Junyun originally wanted to kill me to silence me. Unfortunately, he ended up as a guard." Whoosh. Upon hearing this, Bai Jiu's eyes flickered. She was not too surprised, as she had already guessed that Wu Junyun must have been imprisoned by Wang Kai. Chapter 747. If you release Senior Wu, you can take this amber pearl as the price. When you reach 4-symbol star zone, show me this amber pearl and I can guarantee you a smooth journey. If you use this pearl in White Tiger Star, you can come and go as you please. You have great power. Swoosh. As soon as Bai Jiyo finished speaking, he threw a golden pearl that shone with a gentle luster at Su Mo Patter. Seeing this, Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. With a flip of his hand, he received the bead that was the size of a baby's fist. After sizing it up, he could not help but smile in surprise. In the 4-symbol star zone, you can move unimpeded. In the White Tiger planet, you can obtain great authority. Are you sure you are not joking? Bai Jiyo gave away such a valuable item just to repay Wu Juanyun's kindness. This could only prove 3 points. First, Bai Jiyo was a fool. Second, he was loyal to his friends. Third, the amber pearl was fake. Since you are the ruler of the extraterrestrial star, you should know about White Tiger Star. The amber pearl has been passed down for generations. Although mine is not the proof that I am the king of White Tiger Star, it is still below 2 people and above everyone else. You have no reason to doubt me, Bai Jiyo said indifferently. Below 2 people? Above everyone else? He had only heard of below 1 person and above everyone else, but he had never heard of below 2 people. However, Wang Kai was speechless. He was just bragging and said that he was the ruler of the extraterrestrial star zone. Now, he had shot himself in the foot. If he said that the amber pearl was fake, he would be called ignorant. If he said that it was real, what if it was fake? Do you recognize this amber bead? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and secretly used his mind to send a message to Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing. However, they shook their heads in confusion. They had been to the extraterrestrial star zone but had never been to 4-symbol star zone. Master, we should find that damned horse protector. He has been to the 4-symbol star field and should be able to tell the difference. Moreover, he has the fiery eyes of truth. We can't let such a good ability go to waste. Zhu Beiji chuckled. He looked as if he really wanted to see Sun Wukong summoned by Wang Kai. The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. Putting aside the fact that summoning Sun Wukong required a huge amount of bragging points, with the current realm of the monkey, he would probably have to pay a huge price to be able to control him. Since that was the case, he might as well ask the system. Is this amber pearl real or fake? Host, only by obtaining the torch dragon's eyes can the identification function be activated. Upon hearing the notification, Wang Kai's eyelids twitched. In the end, he had to waste some bragging points to settle this. The torch dragon's eyes. When you open your eyes, the sky is bright. When you close your eyes, the sky is dark. Benshao remembered that it should only require 5,000 bragging points to obtain the torch dragon's eyes. Wang Kai frowned and secretly used his willpower. Congratulations, host, for successfully obtaining the torch dragon's eyes. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Congratulations, host, for successfully activating the identification function. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Host, Wang Kai Profession, Star Warrior Realm, Level 3 Astral Source Star Technique, None Star Technique, None Identification, Torch Dragon's Eyes Equipment, Ever-Changing Fan Star Power, Level 1 Astral Source Points, 20 Physique, Invulnerable Guardian Beast, None Bragging Points, 63,000 Experience, 310000500000. Upon hearing the notification, Wang Kai's face turned sullen. 10,000 bragging points were gone just like that. Identify. Wang Kai had no choice but to grit his teeth and use his willpower. Buzz. Immediately afterwards, rays of colorful light emerged from Wang Kai's palm and shrouded the amber bead. Host, this amber bead is authentic. It is proof of your identity as a member of the royal family of White Tiger Star, Xixiang Domain. Whoosh! As the notification sounded, the 7-colored light also disappeared. However, Wang Kai was stunned when he heard it. It's actually real. What is this guy thinking? How dare he hand over such an important item? Wang Kai never expected Bai Jiuyo to be such a loyal and righteous person. Not bad, you're not bad. Ben Shao admires you very much. Take this amber bead back. Ben Shao will also release Wu Junyun. Wang Kai squinted and smiled calmly. Buzz. In an instant, under Bai Jiuyo's incredulous gaze, Wang Kai really threw the amber bead back to Bai Jiuyo and released Wu Junyun from Buzhou Sky Palace. Lad, what do you want me to do for you? First of all, I won't do anything that offends the heavens and reason. Jiuyo? Why are you in Tongtian domain? When Wu Junyun appeared, he was fuming with anger. He was extremely displeased that Wang Kai had imprisoned him in the Buzhou Sky Palace. However, before he could finish speaking, he was shocked by Bai Jiuyo. Lad, you can order me around, but you can't do anything to Jiuyo. Wu Junyun's face turned serious, and he stared at Wang Kai with a murderous look. Wang Kai could not help but rub his nose when he saw this scene. It was no wonder that Bai Jiuyo would save him. Firstly, Wu Junyun had saved him and protected him, helping him recover for 100 years. Now Wu Junyun was willing to fall out with him. It had to be said that brotherhood was mutual. If one did not show his sincerity, he would only receive pleasantries. Get lost. Ben Shao doesn't care about you anymore. You're only at Celestial Source Realm. You're useless. Wang Kai waved his hand and said with a mocking smile. Did you hear that? Old bastard, get lost now. Zhu Beiji also waved his nine-toothed rake and snorted proudly. You, Senior Wu, let's go. We'll talk about the details later. Bai Jiuyo extended her hand and stopped Wu Junyun, who was about to explode. Go? Will that lad let us go? He's a bastard who eats people without spitting out the bones. Wu Junyun complained with an ugly expression. It was obvious how much he had been bullied by Wang Kai. As a Celestial Source Realm expert and a great elder of Sky Martial Divine Palace, this was the first time he had been bullied by a junior. Bullshit. When did Ben Shao eat people? Besides, Ben Shao doesn't spit out the bones when he eats. That's because Ben Shao doesn't eat anything with bones. He eats the most delicious food in the entire star field. A single bite is worth an entire planet. Do you understand? Get lost now. Wang Kai frowned and snorted in an unfriendly tone. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Goodbye. I'll definitely repay you for your kindness today. Whoosh. Just as Wu Junyun was about to refute, Bai Jiuyo took the lead and cupped his fists together to express his gratitude. After taking a deep look at Wang Kai, he led the reluctant Wu Junyun away in the sky. Master, are we really going to let them go just like that? Zhu Beiji asked in surprise. What do you know? Master is a hero cherishing another hero. Who said that righteous people don't have good karma? Who said that evil people have a long life? That's because they haven't met our master yet. Sha Wujing rolled his eyes and hurriedly praised. Wang Kai was immediately satisfied. He closed his eyes and shook his head, pretending to enjoy it. Just as he was about to praise them, he heard Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing's exclamations. Damn! Why is the sky so dark? Chapter 748. It's dark. Wang Kai was stunned when he heard that. He opened his eyes and looked around, only to realize that the sky was still clear. What the F***ck? It's bright again? What's going on? Zhu Beiji was shocked when he saw that. For a moment, he felt a little scared. Sha Wujing, who was beside him, also looked a little pale. It was dark one moment, and then it was bright all of a sudden. If such a strange phenomenon was caused by someone, how terrifying would that person be? How could there be such an elite in Tianzhou? Even Sun Wukong, who was at the 4th star realm, couldn't do it. F***ck. It's dark again. Who is it? Who is scaring me? Hurry up and come out. Eldest senior brother, don't talk nonsense. We can't afford to offend someone with such power. Just as Zhu Beiji was about to lose his patience and brandish his nine-toothed rake in anger, Sha Wujing, who was at the side, quickly pressed down on his nine-toothed rake and tried to persuade him. Wang Kai's ears twitched when he heard their screams. He couldn't help but smirk and slowly open his eyes. It's bright again. Damn it. Who is it? Did I see a ghost? Zhu Beiji was so angry that he couldn't stop trembling. He felt as though he was being played by someone. In fact, that was the case. The person who was playing him was none other than Wang Kai. The torch dragon's eye was bright when he opened his eyes, and dark when he closed his eyes. After testing it a few times, it was indeed powerful. At the same time, the entire Tianzhou was in shock. Regardless of whether it was the Empyrean Palace or any of the 3,000 forces, or even the ordinary martial artists, they all looked at the sky in panic. After a few repetitions of the sky turning dark and then the sky turning bright, anyone would start to panic. Even the elites of the Empyrean Palace were no exception. Achoo! Crackle, crackle, rumble, rumble. Suddenly, Wang Kai pinched his nose and sneezed. However, as he sneezed, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Dark clouds rolled in and heavy rain fell from the sky. However, it left as quickly as it came. After Wang Kai sneezed, all the unknown phenomena only lasted for dozens of breaths before they disappeared and the sky became clear again. What the hell? Shouldn't only the torch dragon possess such an ability? Ben Shao has just obtained a pair of torch dragon eyes. How can they be so powerful? Wang Kai was also a little shocked when he saw this. He had intentionally sneezed, just now as an experiment. Who would have thought that he would really summon the wind and rain, lightning flashing and thunder rumbling? Host, Torch Dragon's eye contains all of Torch Dragon's abilities. Please use it with caution. Whoosh. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mouth twitched violently. For a moment, he didn't know whether it was a good or bad thing to obtain this ability. Master, that sneeze of yours just now was very deadly. Master, look below. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing finally understood what was going on. Everything was Wang Kai's doing. Even though they didn't know where he had gotten this ability from, the scene below had left them in a state of shock and disbelief. What's going on below? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. He looked down with a puzzled expression, but the scene he saw was extremely shocking. Below them, the mountains and rivers had all been flattened by the lightning earlier. The residents of the city were also paralyzed on the ground by the heavy rain. Their breaths were extremely weak, and some even died directly. Most of them were martial artists. Moreover, their realms were very high. The highest was the Heavenly Path realm. Only the Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Path realm experts still have their breath. The experts below the Heavenly Emperor are all dead? Seeing this, Wang Kai's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with disbelief, and his heart was filled with speechlessness and deep guilt. Damn it! Why didn't you tell me such an important thing? Now that things have turned out like this, how can Ben Shao feel at ease? Wang Kai asked in a rather cold tone. Host, the power of the Torch Dragon's eye is related to your cultivation. Furthermore, the system has already reminded you to use it with caution. Hiss, hearing this reply, Wang Kai's face darkened even more. In the end, the system's reminder was not complete. Everything was based on one's cultivation. Now that Wang Kai was at the Celestial Origin realm, with a sneeze and the amplification of the Torch Dragon's eye, no one below the Celestial Origin realm could withstand it. This is just a sneeze. If Ben Shao really blows and glares, wouldn't that be? The more Wang Kai thought about it, the more afraid he became. If that was the case, everyone with a lower cultivation than him would die tragically. Damn it! Forget it. Since Ben Shao carelessly caused this disaster, then I'll let Ben Shao bear it. But isn't this area too damn big? This time, there must be hundreds of thousands of deaths, right? There are also countless mountains and rivers. If I use my essence blood to save them, won't I bleed them dry? For a moment, Wang Kai's face turned even uglier, especially after estimating the number of death. More black lines appeared on his forehead. A drop of essence blood can save one person and restore all the cultivation he once had. However, if I don't restore his cultivation and only restore his life, I can save hundreds of thousands of people. However, my cultivation level will probably fall to the heavenly Tao realm, right? Wang Kai frowned as he pondered over it. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and slap his chest, causing the essence blood to scatter. Buzz. At the same time, Wang Kai's cultivation dropped instantly. From Grade 3 Astral Source to Grade 1 Astral Source. Furthermore, Wang Kai also discovered that even though he was releasing his essence blood like this, his body was rapidly recovering and regenerating. The speed at which he was regenerating was extremely frightening. It was as if the amount of essence blood he released was the same amount he recovered in the next moment. Is this caused by the impenetrable body? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly. As long as he was still in the astral source realm, so what if he fell by 2 grades? It was just bragging a little more. A man will bear the consequences of his own actions. Ben Shao has never been afraid of trouble, and he dares to take responsibility for the trouble he caused. You guys should be secretly rejoicing. Only the kind and pure Ben Shao would do something like harming others without benefiting himself. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to Grade 2 Astral Source Realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai immediately beamed with joy. He was only 1 level away from returning to his original cultivation level. However, this torch dragon eye is really annoying. I can't sneeze, I can't breathe, I can't even close my eyes. How many more problems do I have? How many more times do I have to make Ben Shao bleed because of his mistakes? Wang Kai held his forehead with one hand, his expression filled with sorrow. Master, are you sick? Why bleed for no reason? As Zhu Beiji's questioning voice rang out, Wang Kai's mouth twitched violently. Chapter 749. Cut the crap. Quickly enter the Buzhou Sky Palace and leave this place as soon as possible. I'm afraid many celestial source realm and above experts have already noticed you. Wang Kai's face darkened. After saying that, he kept Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing into the Buzhou Heavenly Palace. Crack. Immediately after, the void was torn apart by Wang Kai. The moment he stepped into the void, all the aura was gone. Swoosh. Swoosh. At the same time, dozens of experts with terrifying auras appeared in the air. All of them frowned with fear in their eyes. They had clearly been there a moment ago, but their auras had vanished as soon as they entered the spatial crack. This proved that the difference between the two parties was very obvious. The dozens of experts exchanged glances with each other after searching for a while, without any result. Then, they turned around and left one after another. Only the hundreds of thousands of experts who had come back from the dead were left. They stood there in a daze, not knowing what had happened. They were clearly dead, but they were still alive. It was as if the heavens were playing a joke on them. At the same time, thousands of miles away, Wang Kai opened the space with his bare hands and floated down. Fortunately, I have the system to hide my aura. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. Wang Kai frowned and sighed helplessly. The auras of the experts from before were unfathomable. Among them, the weakest was at the celestial source realm. Most of them were undetectable. Are they from the sky-reaching school? TSK. Kid, why are you only here now? Lord Cat has been looking for you for the past few days. Crack. Suddenly, as the space was torn apart, Lord Cat's grumbling voice was heard. Big stupid cat, you're pretty awesome. You actually found Benchao's tracks. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said in surprise. Even the experts who were much stronger than him could only watch him leave. However, Lord Cat had been so accurate and fast. Nonsense, Lord Cat has signed a bloodline contract with you. Naturally, Lord Cat knows where you are. Besides, even without the bloodline contract, it's not difficult for Lord Cat to find you. Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and jumped down from the void. Just a moment ago, he said that it was a difficult task, and now, he was saying that it wasn't a difficult task. I haven't seen you for a long time. Your bragging skills have improved. Wang Kai couldn't help but touch his nose and exclaim with emotion. Hearing this, Lord Cat's paws froze and he said seriously, Kid, although Lord Cat is free now, but not good. Hurry up and run. Suddenly, before Cat Elder could finish his sentence, he let out a cry of surprise and jumped onto Wang Kai's shoulder. His voice was filled with anxiety as he yelled. Crack. Seeing this, Wang Kai had a tacit understanding. Without any hesitation, he tore open the void and disappeared. Interesting. A white-haired old man in a white robe appeared where Cat Lord had been standing a moment ago. Illusion God Ancestor, why do you have to do this? I'm just worried about Ancestor's safety. That's why I've been following Ancestor. The white-haired old man shook his head and said. As he spoke, he carefully observed his surroundings from the corner of his eye. Within the void, Wang Kai stood with his hands behind his back. Big stupid cat, who is this old man? He's quite polite to you. He even called you Ancestor and followed you as a fighter. Why are you hiding? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a mocking smile. Bullshit. If he really thinks that Lord Cat is his ancestor, that's good. This bunch of bastards all want to get the 3,000 illusion techniques from Lord Cat. Lord Cat stood on Wang Kai's shoulder and was so angry that his mouth was crooked. Hearing this, Wang Kai wasn't surprised. Just now, he was just teasing him. Do you want to beat him up? Beat him up. Whoosh. As soon as he said that, Uncle Cat stopped stroking his whiskers. His eyes were full of disdain as he said, You little brat, can you stop acting like a pretentious prick? He's a 3rd-star realm expert, a Star General realm expert. Although I saw your battle just now, your cultivation level is definitely not as strong as his. Who says that Benchao is not as strong as him? Didn't you see that Bai Jiao, a Star Guard, was scared away by Benchao? If Benchao had taken action, Bai Jiao would have been dead. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. You said that you scared him away. It's not that Cat Elder wants to criticize you, but if you really have the ability to defeat Bai Jiao, why would you let your 2 subordinates protect you? Why would you let them go? Cat Elder stroked his long whiskers and said with disdain. Hiss, hiss. Hearing this, Wang Kai took a deep breath. He had an inexplicable desire to catch Bai Jiao, whom he had let go. What do you know? Benchao was willing to let them go because he valued his style. Otherwise, even all the experts of the sky-reaching church would be beaten to the ground and spit blood in front of Benchao, let alone Bai Jiao. Wang Kai shrugged and snorted proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Oh, since you're so powerful now, why did you run away just now? You should have stayed there and waited for those bastards of the sky-reaching church to make trouble for you. Cat Elder said with disdain. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai's face darkened. He stared at Cat Elder fiercely and did not want to argue with him anymore. Old bastards of the sky-reaching church, remember, Benchao is Wang Kai, the master of the immortal star area. Ben Shao will accept this stupid cat. Go back to your sky-reaching church and tell them to King wash their necks and wait. Ben Shao will kill them in a few days. Wang Kai squinted and said to the void. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. CK. You. While Cat Elder was cursing nervously, the white-haired elder outside did not find any trace of Wang Kai. He heard the voice and knew where it came from. However, when he looked over, there was no aura. Immortal Star Area, haha, are you the young man who fought with Bai Jio just now? Let go of the illusion god ancestor. Our sect master has met the master of the Immortal Star Area once. If you're willing to join the sky-reaching church, I'll definitely ask our sect master to talk to the master of the Immortal Star Area about you. As the white-haired elder's voice sounded, Wang Kai, who was in the void, frowned. He had not expected that the sect master of the sky-reaching church would know the master of the Immortal Star Area. Moreover, from his tone, it seemed that they were very familiar with each other. What realm is the sect master of the sky-reaching church in? Is he awesome? Wang Kai asked with a frown. Chapter 750. The Peak of the Fourth Star Realm. I heard that he found a way to break through to the Fifth Star Realm after returning from the outer space. It shouldn't be difficult for him to reach the Fifth Star Realm, said Lord Cat while stroking his beard. The Fourth Star Realm, the Star Lord State. Also, he was about to reach the Fifth Star Realm. Wouldn't he be on the same level as Sun Wukong? Is the sect master of the sky-reaching church that awesome? Wang Kai only knew that the first 4 stars were the Astral Source State, the Astral Guard State, the Astral General State, and the Star Lord State. He didn't know what the 5th star realm was yet. However, the unknown was always terrifying. Instead of being so sneaky, it's better to summon Sun Wukong and fight against the sky-reaching church. We'll have a world-shaking battle and let everyone in Tianzhou know that this young master, who once shocked the world and made countless people tremble, has returned. Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and said with a smile in his eyes, Congratulations to the host for bragging. You have received 1 million EXP and 1,000 bragging points. Are you talking about the monkey that caused trouble in the sky-reaching church? I hope it's not the one I've heard of. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to summon him. Lord Cat stroked his beard and sighed helplessly. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows after hearing that. Why did Lord Cat sound as if even Sun Wukong could be defeated? What do you mean? I've heard those bastards talk about it before. There's a star domain in the outer realm called the Tathagata domain. Under the ruler of the star domain, Tathagata, there's a monkey who's extremely good at fighting. His appearance is similar to the demon monkey you summoned. I hope it's not a monkey. Not a monkey, cough, cough. Wang Kai was speechless. The corners of his mouth twitched. He waved his hand helplessly and said, Since the sky-reaching church wants to talk about this, they must have learned that I summoned Sun Wukong, right? Of course, you've gained the position of the hierarch of heaven's reaching church and forced all the immortals and saintesses to escape. You've even killed some grand elders. What's more, you've offended many forces. The thousands of beautiful disciples you gave to Zhu Beiji. Sigh. It's fine if you don't say it. Cat Lord shook his head speechlessly. If he hadn't revealed his identity as the illusion god, he would have been mistaken for Wang Kai and killed on the spot. The Transcending Heaven Church was one of the top 3 forces. Its status and reputation were both top-notch. However, it just so happened that such a huge mess had occurred when numerous experts had left the Outerium. Originally, it was already humiliating enough for their rankings to drop. However, the experts of the Heaven-Reaching School had already anticipated this. However, no one had expected the things that Wang Kai had done. Tsk, this young master helped them clean up the forces of their enemies. Not only did they not thank me, they even got angry. This time, if this young master doesn't beat them all to the point of kneeling and begging for mercy, how can this young master live up to his title as the strongest in the invincible realm? Wang Kai frowned, his tone full of hostility. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade celestial source realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade. You have received 10 celestial source points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's lips curled up slightly. Previously, he had used up a large amount of his essence blood, causing his cultivation to drop by 2 minor realms. Although he had recovered his essence blood with the help of the impenetrable body, he still needed to raise his cultivation level. However, even so, Wang Kai still felt a little helpless. Even if bragging could increase his cultivation, he still couldn't compare with those old guys who had cultivated for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. If he wanted to catch up with their cultivation, he would definitely vomit blood from bragging. Wang Kai, who had always bragged according to his mood, wouldn't brag like that. Sometimes there were dangers that would arouse Wang Kai's interest. May I ask if you are the daughter of the Empyrean Palace Master, Lady Xuanmiao? Suddenly, the white-haired old man outside the void exclaimed. Immediately, Wang Kai and Cat Lord were stunned. Lady Xuanmiao? The daughter of the Empyrean Palace Master? Whoosh! A woman in a rainbow-colored dress with bare jade-like feet slowly floated down from the sky. Looking at her breathtakingly beautiful face and the unfathomable aura of a superior, not to mention the white-haired old man, even Wang Kai instinctively felt that he was inferior to her. You are the fated one for me? Lady Xuanmiao's body floated until she was a foot away from the ground. Her jade-like hand was holding a jade scepter. Her beautiful eyes blinked slightly, and her long eyelashes were simply mesmerizing. Especially when her red lips parted slightly and let out a beautiful voice that was intoxicating. Fated one? What do you mean, Lady Xuanmiao? The white-haired old man stared blankly at her in confusion. It seems that you are not the fated one for me. Lady Xuanmiao shook her head gently. Her eyes were filled with disappointment as she scanned the surroundings. Then, she tapped her feet lightly and floated up into the sky, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lady Xuanmiao, why did you come to the Tongtian domain? Hasn't she been cultivating outside the domain all this time? How could she step into the Tongtian domain without making a sound? No, I must report this to the sect leader immediately. The white-haired old man furrowed his brows, his expression extremely solemn. Tsk. You are quite good at acting tough. Why aren't you acting tough now? You are actually bowing and scraping to a woman. Do you know that woman just now is Bencheo's concubine? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Concubine? He actually said that Lady Xuanmiao was his concubine? Whoosh! After hearing those words, the white-haired old man's face stiffened and he looked around in horror. Even Lord Cat, who was on Wang Kai's shoulder, was trembling in fear. Kid, are you courting death? Lady Xuanmiao is an expert who has lived longer than Lord Cat. Her father is also the founder of the Empyrean Imperial Palace. He has cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years and is an unparalleled expert who has yet to fall. Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and shouted in a serious tone. For a moment, he was quite frightened by Wang Kai. He had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years and he was still alive? Just how awesome was the Palace Lord of the Nine Heavens Palace? And how powerful was his daughter, Lady Xuanmiao? Her father had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. No matter how weak she was, she should have lived for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Since the Empyrean Imperial Palace is so powerful, why should they be afraid of the Sky-Reaching School? They even joined forces with the Sky Martial Divine Palace to fight against the experts of the Sky-Reaching School. TSK. Isn't it enough to have a Lady Xuanmiao? Wang Kai curled his lips and felt that it was ridiculous. What do you know? When you reach a certain level, you will naturally know that there are some things that are beyond your control. Moreover, who said that the Sky-Reaching School doesn't have someone as powerful as the Empyrean Imperial Palace Master? Lord Cat stroked his long whiskers and snorted in disdain. The Sky-Reaching School actually had someone who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years? Wang Kai's expression froze when he heard those words. It would take him some effort to catch up to an expert who had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. How much effort would he have to brag to catch up to an expert who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years? It seems like my fated person is here. Just now, you said that I am his concubine's fated person. Come out. I won't hurt you. Suddenly, before Wang Kai could regain his senses, a soul-stirring and beautiful voice was transmitted into his ears. Chapter 751. Wang Kai, Elder Cat is going to *CK you up. I've really had 8 lifetimes of bad luck. Of all the people I could have messed with, I had to mess with the Xuanmiao Empress. Elder Cat jumped up and cursed angrily. Wang Kai's face suddenly darkened. He didn't expect Grandpa Cat to learn how to curse people. He waved his hand and grabbed Grandpa Cat from his shoulder. He said fiercely, "Big stupid cat, this young master isn't in a hurry." "Why are you in a hurry? So what if you messed with her? If you make Ben Shao unhappy, not only will you mess with her, but Ben Shao will also *CK you up." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and bragging point. *CK. Elder Cat was so angry that his mouth and eyes turned askew. Especially after Wang Kai's last sentence. He stopped breathing and almost fainted. "Hee, you want me to be your concubine and you want to bully me. Fated one, you are just as a certain," someone said, "very interesting." Suddenly, the Xuanmiao Empress laughed softly. Hearing this, Elder Cat's body trembled as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Angering the Xuanmiao Empress like this, there was no way out. However, Wang Kai wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he curled his lips and laughed coldly. "Little girl, you don't need to grumble over there. Tell me, who is this certain someone you're talking about?" There were people in Tianzhou who knew him well. His brothers, as well as his close female friends. But they didn't have the ability to make the Xuanmiao Empress believe that he was her fated one. "Who is it?" Hee, that old man said that heaven's secrets can't be revealed. So I can't tell you. Come out, my fated one. The Xuanmiao Empress smiled faintly. Heaven's secrets can't be revealed? So mysterious, and there was a fated one. Get out, my ass. Get out so you can kill me? Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with disdain. Whoosh. When these words were spoken, it instantly caused the mysterious female ruler's beautiful eyes to be stunned. Shortly after, her beautiful face was covered in frost. Originally, she had already made some mental preparations. However, she did not expect that this fated person would be shameless to such an extent. Crack! Suddenly, Xuanmiao Empress waved her hand, and the white-haired old man's body exploded. He died on the spot. Moreover, after killing that white-haired old man, Xuanmiao Empress actually revealed a very comfortable expression. It was as if the anger that Wang Kai had caused her had been released. *CK me. This woman is so ruthless. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai swallowed his saliva. He had to admit that this mysterious empress was truly terrifying. He only scolded her once, and she became so angry that she wanted to kill someone. Cat Master told you not to provoke her. Don't provoke her. You just had to. Sigh. So King unlucky, why did Cat Master meet you? The more Cat Master thought about it, the more sullen he felt. In the end, he could only stretch out his paws and cover his eyes. His posture was as if he had already accepted his fate. Fated one, come out. I will not hurt you. Instead, I will help you fulfill any of your wishes, Xuanmiao Empress said with a soft laugh. That expression was so sincere that one couldn't see anything strange about it at all. However, the more she looked like this, the more Wang Kai was on guard. Dangerous people would never admit that they were dangerous. Fulfill any of Benxiao's wishes? Do you think you are the goddess of luck? Are you a pretentious prick? In that case, Benxiao's first wish is for you to strip naked and let Benxiao admire you. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a disdainful expression. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Cat Master's body twitched, and he fainted on the spot. Wasn't this seeking death even more intensely? Hee, I can promise you this. The human body is just a stinky bag of skin. As the fated one, if you want to see it, I don't mind. Xuanmiao Empress's face stiffened and her beautiful eyes were filled with hesitation and coldness. However, in the end, she pursed her red lips and nodded in agreement. She actually allowed him to see it? What the *CK? Was she really the goddess of luck? Then you can start. Don't worry, Benxiao will only take a few glances. He will not be enchanted by your wonderful body. Yes, you must know that Benxiao is only testing your sincerity. Wang Kai squinted his eyes, rubbed his hands, and grinned like a pig. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! Hearing this, Xuanmiao Empress squinted her beautiful eyes. The jade-like hands in her sleeves clenched and loosened. Finally, she nodded gently and smiled. Fine, since I have agreed to any of your wishes, I will naturally keep my word. Rustle, rustle then, when a few scattered sounds were heard, Wang Kai's pupils suddenly shrank. Xuanmiao Empress, who was outside, was completely naked. This caused her exquisite body to be completely exposed to the air. Every part of her body was beautiful to the extreme. Even if it was missing a bit, it would lose its beauty. Perfect. It's simply perfect. Now, Benxiao is about to say his second wish. Turn around and pout. Let Benxiao take a good look at your shape. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled. Such words immediately caused Xuanmiao Empress's face to turn red. Even though she had cultivated for nearly 200,000 years, she had never encountered such a situation. Originally, as her fated person, doing this was already her limit. However, he still wanted her to turn around and pose in such a position. Fated one, I will naturally fulfill your wish. However, you can only have 3 wishes. Are you sure you want to waste the second one? Xuanmiao Empress said lightly. 3 wishes. Wang Kai was stunned. He frowned and thought for a while. Finally, he said firmly, That's right. I will use the second one like this. Turn around and pout. Okay. Xuanmiao Empress pursed her seductive red lips. Her delicate body slowly turned around. Finally, she bent her waist. What a beautiful scenery. Thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye. The last wish is for you to stop following Benxiao. Whoosh! After Wang Kai glared at him a few times, he left behind a few words before turning around and shuttling through the void without the slightest reluctance. Even if the scene was really beautiful, so beautiful that it made one forget to leave, one's life was more important now. I have fulfilled all 3 wishes. I hope that the fated one will not disappoint me. Otherwise, Xuanmiao Empress blinked her beautiful eyes. As she spoke, her clothes automatically appeared on her body. She looked at the void with an inexplicable expression. At the same time, Wang Kai, who was already in the main city of Tongtian Domain, Tongtian City, found an inn. He smacked his lips and said, "Hee, although it's a pity, Ben Shao saw the most beautiful scene. Oh? I am very pleased that the fated one is so happy." Suddenly, a beautiful voice entered his ears. Wang Kai's smile froze. "Damn! Didn't I just say that you are not allowed to follow me? Your 3 wishes are all for the Tiger Man?" You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.